This page is a cover for SEGA Saturn magazine, showcasing a preview for the upcoming Tokyo Game Show. The cover is packed with anime-style artwork featuring characters from various SEGA Saturn games. Prominently featured games include Super Robot Wars, F, Let's Make a Pro Soccer Club, 2, and Willy Wombat. There's also mention of Last Bronx and a second impression of Neon Genesis Evangelion, suggesting further coverage inside. The lower right corner highlights several games with smaller text, including titles like Real Sound, Contra, Legacy of War, Tokimeki Memorial Drama Series Volume 1, Rainbow Colored Youth, Cyberbots, Samurai Showdown 2-1, Blades of Blood, Metal Slug, and Dragon Master Silk. The bottom of the page announces a major new SEGA RPG called Azel, Panzer Dragoon RPG, emphasized with large text and promising a big reveal. This looks to be the main headline game being promoted on this issue's cover. This page appears to be an advertisement for the game Real Sound. The word real is presented in large melting white text, and the word sounds is completed with an S, also in a melting style, positioned next to barcode graphics, which visually represent the sound aspect. The W.ARP logo is at the top left, indicating the game's developer. This page seems to be dedicated to highlighting Real Sound, which was previously mentioned as a title on the magazine cover. This page seems to be a continuation of the Real Sound advertisement from the previous page. The top of the page has Braille writing, which reinforces the concept of sound and accessibility for the visually impaired, tying into the game's unique nature as an audio-only title. Below that, the word "ound" is presented in a melting white font against a black background, effectively completing the title Real Sound, which was started on the previous page. The Japanese text below the title highlights the game's concept. Warp is giving you a new game with no visuals, real sound, play with sound, interactive story. Summer 97, coming to SEGA Saturn. The SEGA Saturn logo at the bottom right clearly indicates the platform for this innovative sound-based game. It looks like this page is really emphasizing the unique and groundbreaking nature of Real Sound, as a game experienced entirely through audio. This page is a visually striking spread from Konami titled Konami D-Mode. It's a collage of film negatives, displaying stylish black and white photographs. The images feature well-dressed people, some in suits and others in more fashionable attire, positioned in various settings. It's a very artistic and modern-looking page, with a focus on visual style, seemingly a departure from the audio focus of the Real Sound advertisement on the prior page. This page appears to be showcasing Konami's brand in a fashionable and visually driven way, rather than promoting any specific game. And it's all about the stylish imagery. This page is a Konami SEGA Saturn new software lineup advertisement, showcasing a variety of games that are all now on sale. At the top, it highlights titles like the comical shooter Sexy Parodius, the cinematic adventure Policenauts, and the lively Jikyu Oshibari Parodius, each with screenshots to give you a peek at the gameplay. Below these, we see Izemasian 2, a shogi game promising comfortable play with its prediction reading feature, and Henry Explorers, a monster-blasting action game. There's also a Tokimeki Memorial selection featuring Fujisaki Shiori, emphasizing her charm. The lower part of the page continues to list available Konami Saturn games, including different editions of Tokimeki Memorial, the puzzle action of Tokimeki Memorial Puzzle Dama, and Chibi Maruko-chan Puzzle Dama. Also featured are shooter classics, with the Gradius Deluxe Pack and Datana Twinbee Yahoo Deluxe Pack, the Cyberpunk Adventure Snatcher, and finally, for sports fans, Powerful Pro Baseball 95 Opening Edition. At the bottom, there's a mention of the Tokyo Game Show 97 Spring Event and a Konami Big Chance campaign that's about to close. This page highlights Assault Suit Leinos 2, also known as Wakusei Kyushu Ovanrei 2 in Japan, a game that blends anime and gaming for a deeply emotional and dramatic experience. It puts you in command of an assault suit squad, challenging you to clear diverse missions. The game boasts over 70 stages, filled with varied battles and human drama, and features more than 50 characters. The story is presented with full-size anime cutscenes at crucial points. The text describes a grand narrative, starting with a presidential assassination, which uncovers a massive conspiracy involving nations. Joven, the protagonist, finds himself in a guerrilla organization navigating numerous encounters and farewells as he seeks the truth amidst endless battles. The page lists cast and staff involved in the game's production.
Screenshots show gameplay featuring strategic top-down views alongside intense mech combat action. Overall, the page promotes Assault Suit Lanos 2 as a game with a compelling story, engaging gameplay, and strong anime presentation. At the bottom right, it also seems to be advertising for staff positions at the game company.
This page showcases a dramatic scene with powerful mechs and characters, seemingly promoting a new simulation RPG for the SEGA Saturn, slated for release on April 4, 1997. The tagline, "For victory, what will you lose?" hints at a narrative focusing on sacrifice and difficult choices. Visually, we see a large, imposing mech dominating the foreground, with a blonde character confidently standing atop it. Several other characters are positioned around the mech, some appearing to be pilots or crew members. The artwork conveys a sense of action and intensity, suggesting a game filled with large-scale battles. The page also mentions a radio drama called Yoko Asada's Clumsy Ladies, which is currently airing, and the ending theme for Weiss 2 called Keninkakan is being released as a CD single by Wedge Japan on April 10th. There are also mentions of sound files and radio drama volumes being released in April, indicating a multimedia push around this game release. This page is an advertisement for the SEGA Saturn game Shin O-U Ken, which translates to something like God Phoenix Fist, highlighting it as a hot aerial battle game that will change the way you fight. It's promoting a special offer for early purchasers, a set of 4 special figures. To get these figures, you needed to send in the application postcard included in the initial production copies of the game and pay a 1,500 yen shipping fee. The figure set includes 4 characters, Sanao, Benton, and the children twins, Chi-Chi and Nene. The game was released on April 4, 1997, and is priced at 5,800 yen before tax.
It's developed by Saurus and published by SNK. There are also some smaller images showing gameplay and character portraits to give a glimpse into the game's world and characters. This page is showcasing a fantastic adventure value pack, featuring 2 very different but equally captivating adventure games. We have Myst, the mega hit from America that really redefined puzzle adventures with its surreal worlds and intricate mysteries. Alongside it is Nanatsu no Hihukan, or 7 Secret Mansion, a Japanese adventure game known for its complex mysteries and engaging story crafted by a team of talented creators. The ad is touting this as a great deal to experience 2 very distinct flavors of adventure gaming in one package. You can see screenshots from both games, giving you a taste of their visual style and gameplay. Myst has its iconic island landscapes, while 7 Secret Mansion shows off its intriguing character designs and room settings. Beyond this adventure pack, they're also advertising value series sets for strategy game fans. There's a Nobunaga's Ambition set, combining Nobunaga's Ambition, Howden, and Nobunaga's Ambition Returns, promising historical simulation gameplay. And for fans of grand strategy on a larger scale, there's a Romance of the Three Kingdoms set, packing together Romance of the Three Kingdoms V and Romance of the Three Kingdoms Returns, promising to let you experience the epic scale of ancient Chinese warfare. They're clearly aiming to offer great value by bundling popular titles together. Prices are displayed for both individual and value pack purchases, making it easy to see the savings you could get. This page is all about exciting new games and events. It's highlighting Angelique Special 2, advertising both a premium box and a travel set. It looks like a romantic adventure game, where you journey with guardian saints. They're even having a special event at the Tokyo Game Show 97 Spring for Angelique Special 2, with voice actor talk shows, cosplay contests, and a sticker printing corner. They're really pushing this game hard, with a simultaneous release date of April 4th and a price of 9,800 yen. There are also adverts for a few other games. Dark Hunter, Der Freischütz, is pitched as a fantasy horror adventure connecting Japanese and English language learning. Emit Volume 13 also appears to be for English language learning, described as a multimedia English conversation game. Finally, there's Game Nipponshi, which seems to be an edutainment title for learning Japanese history through gameplay. Both Dark Hunter and Game Nipponshi are also slated for a 4/4 release, priced at 6,800 yen each. This page continues the spotlight on Angelique Special 2, declaring it's even more wonderful and exciting. A headline asks, "Will you become queen?" and teases that this trial will be even more thrilling. It seems the quest to become queen is on again, with new challenges
and the mystery of the chosen queen candidate. It mentions familiar guardian saints, new characters, and enhanced romance, emphasizing the appeal of nurturing and personality development. It's advertised to be released on April 4th for 7,800 yen. There's a cast list featuring characters like Julius, Clavis, and Oscar, among others, with voice actor details. The game is further described as a love and adventure variety game set in a wonderland. Players will explore a mysterious land, interact with guardian saints, solve puzzles, and enjoy events, aiming for a heartwarming ending. Alongside the game advert is promotion for the Angelique Special 2 Suite Guide, priced at 5,800 yen. Moving away from Angelique, there's a Winning Post 2 Program 96 campaign and game advertisement. This campaign is the third Winning Cup, inviting players to predict winning horses to win prizes and entry via password. The game Winning Post 2 Program 96 itself is advertised as well received and priced at 6,800 yen, described as a horse racing simulation game. There are details of race distances and prize categories for the campaign. This page showcases the Romance of the Three Kingdoms world from Koei, presenting 3 games. The first is Sangokushi Kongmaiden, part of the Ikuden series, which seems to focus on the strategist Zhuge Liang, also known as Kongming. The advert mentions immersive gameplay and dramatic Three Kingdoms scenarios. The game is priced at 7,800 yen and is available from today. Next we have Sangokushi V, a historical simulation game that is currently well received and selling for 9,800 yen. The advert emphasizes it as a grand strategy game with a focus on unifying the land. Lastly, Sangokushi Returns, also a historical simulation game, is advertised as a new take on the original Sangokushi series, priced at 6,800 yen and also currently well received. The advert mentions a fresh perspective on the series and hints at new gameplay elements. All 3 games seem to be strategy titles based on the popular historical period. This page is all about Uncharted Waters 2, also known as Daikukai Jidai 2 in Japan, a classic seafaring RPG from Koei. It's hitting the SEGA Saturn, and this advert is hyping up the release. They're really pushing the romantic adventure aspect of sailing the 7 seas. Talking about mysteries and destiny, the page mentions you'll play as one of 6 characters, each with their own story, and it sounds like you'll be dealing with everything from treasure hunting to battling female pirates. They're emphasizing that this Saturn version is a step up visually and audibly from the Super Famicom release, boasting enhanced graphics, clearer sound, and even movie-like opening scenes. It also mentions a hyper guidebook is coming out alongside the game. The big red circle shouts, "Today released," and the price is 6,800 yen. So if you're a fan of adventure and exploration on the high seas, Uncharted Waters 2 on Saturn is ready for you to set sail. This page is an advertisement for a SEGA Saturn word processor keyboard set from Koei. It's designed to turn your SEGA Saturn into a word processing machine, making tasks like writing documents much easier. They're highlighting how simple it is to use with easy color printing, perfect for creating things like letters and cards. The ad boasts about how quickly you can create documents and how beautiful the color prints are, supporting sizes from postcards up to A4. It even mentions clip art and pre-designed templates to make creating stylish and original personalized printouts a breeze. The set contents list shows you get the SEGA Saturn keyboard, the Eggword word processing software for Saturn, a BJC 210J printer, and a printer interface, all for a special set price of 34,800 yen. They are really pushing this as a today release product. This page is all about the upcoming release of Langrisser IV. It's presented as the newest title in the series, arriving soon. They're highlighting the character Shelfaniel, providing a little character file with her name, voice actor Yuri Amano, and a brief description mentioning she's the first princess of Calzaris, Angelina's twin sister, and loved by many. It mentions her gentle personality and talent as a magic user. The advert promotes a first-run limited special package, which includes a Langrisser IV special pin badge set and a special fanbook. This special package is priced at 6,800 yen, while the regular package is 5,800 yen. You can see screenshots from the game showcasing the tactical board-type combat. They are emphasizing new strategic gameplay elements and improved 2D battle scenes, introducing a new judgment power stat that influences action order. The character designs are by Satoshi Urushihara, and they've got a cast of around 30 voice actors, including famous names. At the bottom, there's pre-order campaign information for Langrisser IV, and also for a special package edition of Langrisser I and II for PlayStation, offering a Langrisser 2i special pin badge as a gift. There are instructions on how to apply for the Langrisser 2i pin badge present, asking for your name, address, and phone number, and mentioning to get a shop stamp to validate your application. The game is scheduled for release in July. This page is a vibrant advert for the fighting game Waku Waku 7 on SEGA Saturn. It's being promoted as the definitive fighting action game and boasts a release date of April 25th. You can see a bunch of the game's quirky and colorful characters taking center stage in a dynamic group shot. The advert also highlights the standard price at 5,800 yen and a slightly higher price of 7,800 yen for a version that includes a backup RAM cartridge. There are a couple of small screenshots showing the fast-paced, cartoonish fighting action in the game itself, giving you a glimpse of the in-game stages. Overall, it's a bright and energetic page designed to get players hyped for this upcoming fighter. This page is dedicated to the game Thunder Force versus it's clearly an advertisement, and it's emphasizing the game's key features by stating 2D shooting and 3D shooting fusion. It also has the tagline, "Kwoo," which means something like, "finally arrives," or "here it comes," creating excitement for the game's launch or availability. The advert is presented by Technosoft, whose logo, address, phone number, and website are visible at the bottom of the page. It's a straightforward and bold announcement for this highly anticipated shooting game. This page is an advertisement for Interwave, which is an internet provider for the SEGA Saturn. It's promoting itself as an easy and affordable way to get online, boasting, "Initial cost free, monthly fee free, credit card unnecessary," and claiming you can connect in just 3 minutes using Dial Q2. The ad provides simple step-by-step instructions on how to set up the internet connection on your SEGA Saturn. It seems pretty straightforward, guiding you through the Saturn's menus to configure the connection. They even give you all the necessary technical details you'll need, like phone numbers for different regions in Japan, the DNS address, login ID and password, and even a chat script. It looks like they're really trying to make it as user-friendly as possible for SEGA Saturn owners to jump online with their service. There's a cartoon character holding a globe to visually represent the internet, and overall it's a guide on how to get your SEGA Saturn online with Interwave. This page is an advertisement for Yoyogi Animation Academy, which is a school for aspiring animation and video artists. They boast a wide range of courses, and interestingly, they specifically highlight departments focused on game-related fields like game design, game sound design, and CG animation, showcasing their awareness of the growing games industry. Beyond games, they also cover traditional animation, video production, and even voice acting, offering a comprehensive curriculum for creative media. The Academy emphasizes practical training and getting students ready for professional careers, mentioning benefits like 24-hour access to facilities and career support after graduation. They prominently feature their video artist department and offer various course lengths to suit different needs. For anyone in Japan wanting to get into animation or video creation, Yoyogi Animation Academy presents itself as a solid training ground. They provide contact information for inquiries and are advertising free auditions for anyone interested in checking them out. This page seems to be showcasing the game Kakusei, also known as Underclassmen or Junior, and its tagline could be translated as Hearts Pounding. It's from the developer Elf, and it's quite clear from the images that this is going to be a romance-themed game with anime-style girls in various suggestive situations, hinting at the typical dating sim or visual novel experience that was popular on the SEGA Saturn. The overall page design and imagery really sets the tone for a game designed to evoke those heart-thumping moments and romantic interests typical of the genre. The next page continues with the focus on Kakusei, or Underclassmen. We have a large image of one of the main girls in a school uniform, and holding a briefcase. It looks like she might be heading to or from school. Around her are smaller diamond-shaped frames, showing scenes from the game itself, confirming the romantic and suggestive themes we saw on the previous page. You can see glimpses of other girls in various situations, reinforcing that this is indeed a dating sim-type game with anime-style characters. The page also clearly highlights the release date as April 25, 1997, with a price of 7,800 yen, excluding tax. Finally, there's an age rating at the bottom, clearly stating this game is for adults only, 18 years and older. This page is advertising the magazine Jugemu, which has become more compact, and is now released on the 30th of the month. The cover girl for this issue is Aiko Sato. The May issue of Jugemu is releasing on March 29th for 480 yen. There are 3 big bonuses included in this issue, which are a renewal present with 2 million yen in total prize money and software for around 300 people, SEGA AM2 and Capcom Character Power Memory and Memory Card Seals, and an exclusive Parappa the Rapper ad-lib book textbook by Masaya Matsura. The page also mentions HOI Choi Productions entering the game industry and asks, how much is real and how much is a lie in the game industry? Special feature number 1 is a ranking of everything game-related, from characters popular with Kogels to developers' ailments and even first kisses. Special feature number 2 is about how 10 judges view Sakura Wars and a Jugemu 100 Selections special. Finally, it promotes a substantial Saturn Life column, which is Kenji Ino's World Wandering Diary serialized article, available only in Jugemu. At the bottom, it mentions a PlayStation The Best official handbook, with a complete lineup of 30 titles and cheat techniques. This page is the cover of SEGA Magazine, an official publication for SEGA fans. The April issue is currently on sale, and was released on the 13th of each month, priced at 300 yen. The main image features a scene from The House of the Dead, with the tagline, "You must stop Kurian, or else something terrible will happen." There's a special feature highlighted about high school girls loving games, specifically mentioning the popularity of the Making Club series. Featured articles include a look at the road to Sega ages, focusing on Game Ground, and a history of Sega arcade games as seen through flyers. There's also a special gravure section called Anakaji, and a big feature showcasing Neon Genesis Evangelion goods. Other smaller articles include the birth of Oba Bauer and Sega Arena, and new information on upcoming games like Scud Race Twin, The House of the Dead, and Columns 97. Finally, there's a special feature on game schools for Spring 97, and an emergency project article about visiting Bandai's hobby division. This page promotes Sakura Wars Columns, which is a puzzle spin-off game featuring the popular characters from the Sakura Wars series. The page showcases artwork of the main heroines of Sakura Wars posing dynamically, with the game's logo prominently displayed. It's a vibrant and colorful page, emphasizing the charm and familiar characters of Sakura Wars now in a puzzle game format. The focus is clearly on highlighting the Sakura Wars Columns game itself, and leveraging the popularity of the main Sakura Wars characters to draw attention to this new title. This page is dedicated to the release of Sakura Wars Columns, a puzzle game spin-off featuring the beloved characters of the Sakura Wars series. It highlights the game as a response to fan enthusiasm, promising a puzzle experience set in the Flower Capital, with new episodes featuring the Flower Division members, alongside competitive play. The page showcases several game modes, including Cinderella mode, where you progress as the main character, 2-player battle mode for versus play, and 1-player mode for solo enjoyment. The advert also mentions that the original Columns gameplay is enhanced with Sakura Wars characters and voices, adding to the game's appeal. Below the game information are adverts for related Sakura Wars PC accessories and music. There's a screensaver for Windows 95 PCs featuring Sakura Wars, a digital fan disc called Sakura Wars Flower Division Communication, and announcements for a single and album release of Sakura Wars music. Finally, at the bottom, there is an advert for the SEGA Saturn console itself. This page showcases 2 exciting Sakura Wars books that are currently on sale. The first is the Sakura Wars Original Pictures and Setting Material Collection, which is described as a definitive guide packed with everything a fan could want. It's filled with beautiful original artwork, detailed setting materials, and even unreleased content, plus interviews with the development staff. It seems to be a treasure trove for anyone wanting to delve deeper into the Sakura Wars universe, covering everything from characters to mecha. The second book is called the Sakura Wars Shocking Secret File. This one is presented as a special SEGA Saturn Magazine Photo CD Mania Collection, Volume 1. It sounds like it's full of exclusive content that wasn't even included in the games, like character and mecha design documents and CG artwork, all conveniently stored on a CD-ROM. This one appears to be aimed at hardcore fans and collectors wanting to see behind the scenes of Sakura Wars development. Both books look like must-haves for Sakura Wars enthusiasts, and are currently available for purchase. This page showcases SEGA Saturn game strategy guides and art books. Evangelion Second Bible is a comprehensive guide to Evangelion Second Impression, including scene introductions, interviews, and secret techniques. The Virtua Fighter 3 Special Book delves into the game's development, featuring staff insights and developer interviews. The Langrisser Holy Sword Secret File, part of a photo CD collection, offers rare visuals and setting materials. An official artwork book for Last Bronx presents a CG art collection with illustrations and character details. Lastly, a perfect guide for Quo Vadis 2. The Planet of Bloodshed Avon Ray provides strategic information, character data, and mission walkthroughs. This page is the contents page of the magazine, and it's highlighting upcoming features. On page 71, there's a big feature on the Tokyo Game Show previews under the title GDNet. This section will likely cover games like Grandia, Slayers Royal, Magic School Luna,
Lunar Silver Star Story Umpeg version, Baroque, Silhouette Mirage, and Chaos Seed.
It mentions unveiling highly anticipated titles. Then on page 40, there is a special report section which focuses on Azel Panzer Dragoon RPG, which we know internationally as Panzer Dragoon Saga. Other games listed in this special report include Super Robot Wars, J-League Pro Soccer Club, Otsukuru 2, Willy Wombat, Neon Genesis Evangelion Second Impression, Pokken 2 Ipatsu, Doronbo Kanpekiban, Side Pocket 3, Last Bronx, and Yukyu Gensu Kyoku. The page also prominently features a character image from Panzer Dragoon Saga, reinforcing the special report on that game.
This page provides a snapshot of SEGA Saturn game releases and upcoming titles.
The new release titles section highlights games like Sand Serpent Deluxe Pack Plus and Dirty Dwarf. Coming Soon Soft previews anticipated games, including Metal Slug and Cyberbot's Full Metal Madness, and AM3 Research Rush. Section teases Top Skater and a potential Virtuon crossover. A game index on the right lists numerous SEGA Saturn games alphabetically, with page numbers for easy reference, showcasing a wide variety of titles from various genres. This page is a full-page advertisement for the SEGA Saturn game mobile suit, Z Gundam Part 1, Z's Pulse. It highlights that this is the first time the Z's story from the Gundam universe is appearing as a SEGA Saturn game. The advert boasts that this is the next story after the original Gundam series, and it is finally here as a SEGA Saturn software title. It mentions that this is a SEGA Saturn software debut of the Ziz project, bringing the TV series to life on the system. The advertisement includes 3 small screenshots showing in-game action. It also mentions a special campaign where 300 people can win original animation cells if they purchase the game, making it a must-have for fans. The game was set to be released in late April for 6,800 yen, excluding tax. This page is an advertisement for the SEGA Saturn game Magical Hoppers. It's touted as a fantasy 3D action hopping game and promises a thrilling experience with its multi-angle system and freely movable camera angles across all 3D stages. The advert highlights key gameplay elements with exclamations like jump, dash, and magic attack. It's promoting a special Dream campaign to commemorate the game's release. The SEGA Saturn version of Magical Hoppers is set to be released in late April and will cost 6,800 yen excluding tax. The advertisement includes screenshots showcasing gameplay, focusing on jumping and magic attacks. This page reveals some exciting news for SEGA Saturn fans.
First up, the popular Sakura Wars is getting an OVA adaptation called Sakura Wars Cherry Blossom Song. This is a collaboration between SEGA, Bandai Visual, and Animate Film, and promises to recreate the game's world in detail with a new media format. Key staff from the game are involved, including Uji Hiroi for the original story and Kuhei Tanaka for music. They are even including original anime footage from the game and video bromides in the release, making it a must-have for fans. Next, Virtua Fighter 3 is getting the DVD treatment. Specifically, they are releasing character-specific strategy videos on DVD. The first releases will focus on Akira, Pai, Aoi, and Wolf. It seems there's also a related campaign tied to the weekly Virtua Fighter segment. Finally, there's a promotion for the racing game, King of Fighters 95, Flame, King 2. They are giving away advanced branded goods as prizes. Things like Yokohama rubber gum, chairs, helmets, stadium jackets, and more. To enter, you need to send in a postcard with a barcode. It sounds like a cool way to get some exclusive merchandise for King of Fighters fans who also enjoy racing games. A print club campaign for the Street Sound novel series offers prizes like charms and phone cards. Entry requires a photo submission with a clear face, using a postcard from participating stores before April. Bandai will release a Tamagotchi PHS phone, Tamagotchi P, in June, combining a PHS phone with a built-in virtual pet for 45,000 yen. A photo booth allows custom postcard creation with over 1,000 backgrounds. Starting in Shibuya, Yomiuriland will host a free event on March 30th, with Sakura Wars creator Oji Hiroi, including stage shows and autographs. The movie, The Ghost and the Darkness, premieres March 29th. Music releases include tracks from Asayan, Cracker El Malo, Homeland Days, and game soundtracks and dramas like Nightruth and Street Fighter X. This page is a feature titled Riko Sakata's Internet Trek, which is about exploring the internet. It starts by introducing the concept of internet trekking as a less intense version of net surfing, venturing into the vast cyberspace. The article focuses on Sega's official website, Entertainment Universe, with the URL http://www.sega.co.jp/. It describes the site as accessible from Saturn and a treasure trove of Sega information. The website is described as a digital magazine, with various sections like theme park, GameSoft, travel, Sega, cinema, music, and pachinko. The article mentions that game developers themselves provide inside stories and behind-the-scenes information on game production, along with up-to-date news. It also highlights the AM2 research and development section, praising Yu Suzuki's profile and his global perspective, noting that even English information is available, making it feel like connecting to the world of AM2 R&D. The writer encourages readers to visit the Sega official site as the first step in their internet trek, emphasizing that Saturn users should definitely check it out. The page also briefly mentions other Sega-related web pages for GameSoft, theme parks, and Saturn main page with URLs provided. The tone is enthusiastic and informative, promoting Sega's online presence and the wealth of information available to Sega fans online. The top 15 best-selling Sega Saturn games, based on shop data, are led by Neon Genesis Evangelion Second Impression, selling over 27,000 units this week and boasting a cumulative total exceeding 230,000. J-League Victory Goal 97, a football game, debuts in second place with over 26,000 sales. Neon Genesis Evangelion, new package, a budget release, secures third, selling nearly 19,000 units this week and exceeding 1 million overall. Mobile Suit Gundam Gaiden 2-1, The End of Seed, and Yuwaku complete the top 5. The chart also features titles like Puyo Puyo Sun, Manx TT Superbike, and Sakura Wars 2. The rankings highlight the continued popularity of the Evangelion franchise and the diverse interests of Saturn owners. This page presents two popularity charts. The User Data Top 20 reflects user interest in Sega Saturn games, with RPGs, Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, and fighting games, Street Fighter 2Y, topping the list. Other genres represented include racing and action games. The text anticipates new titles and user expectations for Saturn ports. The Shop Data Top 15 focuses on arcade games. Virtua Fighter 3 and Daytona USA 2 lead the chart, highlighting the popularity of fighting and racing games. Other successful titles include various Street Fighter entries and Real Bout Fatal Fury Special. The text emphasizes fighting and racing game dominance, while also pointing out Top Skater as a noteworthy, stylish, and immersive skateboarding experience in arcades. This page showcases the User Data Top 30 chart, highlighting the most anticipated upcoming Sega Saturn games. At the top spot is Grandia, an RPG with significant user interest and a GD-Net feature promised. Second place goes to Virtua Fighter 3, another highly anticipated title, with mentions of Fighters Mega Mix and its near completion. In third is Elf, The Party in Darkness, a romance-adventure game aimed at adults, nearing its release. Ranks 4 through 30 present a list of other eagerly awaited games spanning various genres. Some notable titles within this ranking include Biohazard 2 and Biohazard, Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil,
Sakura Wars, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Lunar Eternal Blue, and Dragon Knight 4, showcasing a diverse range of gaming experiences coming to the Saturn. The Pickup Check game section focuses on Slayers Royal at rank 14, an RPG praised for its popularity and fantasy setting. Further down at rank 39 is Salamander Deluxe Pack Plus, a shooting game touted as a masterpiece, recalling classic arcade shooters like Salamander 2 and Life Force. Finally, the Other Check, Coming Soon section teases Baroque and Magical School Luna, indicating more exciting titles on the horizon for Sega Saturn fans. This page presents the Reader's Race Volume 46, a user-voted ranking of all currently available Sega Saturn software. This time, Sakura Wars has impressively reached the #1 spot. The page features the Odds Table Saturn A, which is a detailed ranking list of released games based on reader votes. Sakura Wars and even Burst Error are highlighted as unexpected top contenders. The page also mentions that this ranking reflects games available as of March 21st. There is a section titled Unexpected Dark Horse, which further emphasizes the success of Sakura Wars and even Burst Error, noting their initial release dates and strong user support. Additionally, a Saturn B chart is introduced for other games. It notes that there weren't major shifts in this chart, but points out Gage no Kitaro's significant drop in ranking. New entries in the B chart include Angel Paradise featuring Yuko Sakamoto, and Sega Ages is Memorial Collection, which are considered noteworthy new arrivals. Finally, there's a small column called Dan Yoshida's Bullet, which seems to be a personal comment section from a contributor. The page also includes images and screenshots showcasing Sakura Wars and even Burst Error. This page continues the Saturn Reader's Race rankings with the Odds Table Saturn B. It's another huge list of games ranked by user votes. There don't seem to be any major shifts in this part of the chart. It's mostly a continuation of the previous trends. Below the rankings, there are 3 new arrival game reviews. First up is New Genesis Evangelion, Second Impressions. The reviewer notes the high production value typical of Evangelion games, and praises the enjoyable story and gameplay. They highlight the anime-style presentation and solid adventure game elements, giving it an overall good score. Next is Mobile Suit Gundam Gaiden 2-1, The Space War for Whom. This one receives a very positive review, emphasizing the improved game balance and satisfying gameplay. The reviewer praises the way the game incorporates Gundam elements and the engaging story, awarding it a high score. Lastly, there's Heaven and Earth Without Scaffolds, Roar, Dragon Princess. This game is described as focusing on scenario and characters, with a strong emphasis on story. The reviewer mentions it might not appeal to everyone due to its slower pace, but appreciates its unique charm and the depth of the narrative. They note that it's a title where you can savor the dialogue and character interactions. This document presents game reviews from the Saturn Reader. The Odds Table Saturn C continues to rank games based on reader votes. New Arrival Game Reviews covers 4 titles. Angel Paradise Volume 1, a decent anime-style puzzle game. Sega Ages Memorial Selection Volume 1, a recommended arcade compilation with good emulation. Body Special 264, a solid and immersive puzzle game. And Guru Brothers Theater Volume 1, Mahjong Edition, a comedic mahjong game. Games to Watch Out For features 2 reviews. Rise of the Robots 2 receives a scathing review, deemed world-class bad. Planet Joker, despite its amateurish quality, offers a challenging and unique experience for those seeking something different. The next page showcases upcoming horse racing game previews under the title Next Outing Horse Racing Paddock Information. There are 4 games featured. Manx TT Superbike, a motorcycle racing game where reviewers note the smooth controls and speed. Victory Goal 97, a soccer game praised for its realistic formations and eye, with reviewers appreciating its depth. Excellent Classic Road, another horse racing game described as having improved graphics and deeper gameplay, though some found the text difficult to read. And Gameware Volume 4, a game praised for its high degree of completion and value, with reviewers highlighting its replayability and addictive nature. Moving on, there's the Odds Table Sega Saturn Peripheral Devices, which ranks Saturn accessories based on reader popularity. In the Soft Saturn review section, there's talk about Sakura Wars and the exciting new developments for the Saturn, hinting at a promising future for the console and its games. The page also features a Sega Saturn Reader Race Participant Great Recruitment section, inviting readers to join a race and win prizes. The mentioned game is Advanced World War, Thousand Years of National Destiny.
Lastly, there is an odds prediction game for Doubles Chance, which seems to be another contest related to predicting game odds, and this time it involves Mobile Suit Gundam Side Story, The Blue Destiny. Below that, a special Present Now segment details a prize giveaway with 3 different courses, A, B, and C, offering various bundles of Saturn peripherals and software. This page is all about the latest game in the Panzer Dragoon series, which is called Azel, Panzer Dragoon RPG. They're clearly very excited about it being the newest title. The page shows a large illustration with 3 characters. A Basil is front and center, looking directly at you. There's a big headline announcing it as the newest game in the series, and text indicating it's a special report, a first look, going in-depth with the development staff to explore the overall picture of this brand new Panzer Dragoon game. It's mentioned that this famous shooting game is reborn as an RPG. They are really emphasizing the RPG aspect of this new title. This page continues the Panzer Dragoon RPG special report and highlights the shift from a shooting game to a role-playing game. The large text emphasizes flying into a role-playing game experience. The article suggests this isn't just a simple genre change, but an evolution of the Panzer Dragoon series into a new RPG style, maintaining the exhilarating speed and feeling of flight from the shooting games. It talks about vast 3D fields, dragon riding, and the grand scale of the adventure. Below this, the page reviews the history and footsteps of the Panzer Dragoon series. It starts with the original Panzer Dragoon, released in March '95, highlighting its 3D polygon graphics, immersive shooting gameplay, and unique world design. It mentions the Zwei sequel continuing this tradition, evolving with stage routes and dragon growth. Finally, it briefly mentions the Panzer Dragoon In and 2 compilation, released in December '96, as a set of the first 2 games, encouraging players to experience the origins of the series in preparation for the new RPG. This page previews a new Panzer Dragoon RPG, promising a deep dive into the series lore for both new and returning players. The game is set in a far future world in decline, after a golden age, where humans utilize bioengineered weapons and face monstrous threats. The story, while connected to previous games, isn't strictly chronological, hinting at familiar characters and dragons. Key elements include the Empire, a dominant force seeking to restore human dominance, and the Old Century, a fallen civilization whose relics and advanced weaponry are coveted. A mysterious girl named Azel is also connected to the ruins. Offensive life forms, including dragons, are bioweapons from the Old Century. Director Manabu Nomura discusses the game's evolution from a shooter to a standard RPG format. The focus is on a compelling narrative set within the Panzer Dragoon world, featuring towns, fields, and battles, offering a familiar RPG experience. This page previews Panzer Dragoon RPG, promising a grand, emotionally resonant story. Though not directly tied to previous games, it follows 15-year-old Edge who, after a crash, bonds with a dragon and embarks on a journey. Key characters include Edge, Azel, a mysterious girl from the ruins, and Kraymen, an antagonist. The gameplay allows dragon flight from the outset, not just for battles, but for world exploration. The player will move across a map, encountering events. While details are scarce, RPG elements like leveling up and shops are confirmed. An interview with Program Chief Hidetoshi confirms dragonflight is central. Azel's age is unspecified, but she seems connected to offensive life forms from the Old Century, making her a key story element. The bond between Edge and the dragon is crucial, inseparable within the game. Panzer Dragoon RPG aims for impressive scale and drama, utilizing real-time polygons for vast, seamless environments with stunning lighting and weather effects. Detailed towns packed with polygons and motion-captured character animations enhance realism. The developers are ambitious, questioning the number of discs needed to contain the game, with Azel playing a crucial role. The game features dynamic camera movement, especially during dragonflight, enhancing exploration. Town environments are central to gameplay, offering interactions and item acquisition from NPCs. The game strives to transcend conventional RPG concepts with fully voiced conversations and the lock-on gameplay element. Combat will be action-oriented, maintaining the series' core shooting mechanics. The developers hope players will enjoy exploring the world so much that they will forget the story. This page explores the battle system of Panzer Dragoon RPG Azel. While battle screens weren't available,
Interviews suggest impressive battles designed for both new and returning players. The staff's talk reveals the integration of RPG elements like hit points, magic points, and experience points. A key change is the shift to player-controlled lock-on, aiming from the automatic system in previous games, raising questions about field movement. Battles will feature a field encounter RPG style, transitioning to a battle scene. They're aiming for a classic RPG feel, with unique boss battles. The page concludes with excitement for the game's mysterious world and captivating visuals, emphasizing a realistic RPG experience and impressive graphics. A Tokyo Game Show announcement previews a pre-release showing of Azazel on April 4th. The next page is announcing Super Robot Wars F for the SEGA Saturn. It highlights that it's been 6 years since the series began, and this new title is finally coming to Saturn, fulfilling fans' wishes. It's described as a simulation RPG and is priced at 6,800 yen, with a release date set for July 25, 1997. The page emphasizes that this is a completely new game, not just a port of an existing title, and promises more detailed information will be revealed later. It features images of various super robots, including what looks like Mazinger Z, Gundam units, and EVA units, suggesting a crossover of different mecha anime series. There's also a screenshot showcasing a battle interface with unit stats, commands, and battle scenes, giving a glimpse into the game's mechanics. The text mentions, "New robot multi-appearance," indicating a large roster of robots in the game. It seems like a highly anticipated release for fans of the Super Robot Wars series on the SEGA Saturn. This page delves into the meaning of F in Super Robot Wars F, which is finally coming to SEGA Saturn. It seems to be an interview with the producers and developers of the game. They emphasize that this new title is a culmination of all the know-how from the series, creating the definitive robot battle experience. They are highlighting the huge volume of content, emphasizing the importance of scenario and story. They've incorporated new units and cutscenes, aiming for immersive and impactful scenes. The team is made up of members from Banpresto, Sega Enterprises, and Winky Soft. They talk about how F is a direct continuation from second, third, and especially fourth Super Robot Wars, aiming to be the ultimate fourth. New characters are introduced, and they've focused on making the story and event progression seamless. The developers want players to really savor and enjoy the game at their own pace. They also mention improvements to the game system, aiming for intuitive controls. They are confident that Super Robot Wars F on Saturn will be an amazing experience that surpasses previous entries. The page also mentions a pre-order campaign with items like an EVA Unit 01 figure and Super Robot Wars F box. Pre-orders start from May 7th at retailers. This page shines a spotlight on the exciting robot debuts in Super Robot Wars F. First up is Neon Genesis Evangelion, making its series debut. The article mentions the anime aired a year prior, and the game's story will take place in Neo Tokyo 3, focusing on the battles against the angels, just like a condensed version of the anime. Fans can expect to see Evangelion units 01 and 00 in action, naturally participating in the robot warfare. Next, the page highlights Legendary Giant God Ideon. It explains the story involves the sixth civilization and space robots, with battles against the Buff clan. Ideon's immense power is emphasized, particularly its all-directional missile barrage, which is a sight to behold in the game. Finally, the article touches upon the rest of the robot roster. It confirms that besides these new additions, the majority of the robots are returning from 4th Super Robot Wars. It lists a bunch of series that fans will recognize, including Getter Robo, Gashogun, Zambot 3, Daytarn 3, and various Gundam series like Zeta, Char's Counterattack, F91, and Victory, along with LGAIM and G Gundam. So players can anticipate a massive lineup of familiar robots from 4th Super Robot Wars alongside these exciting newcomers. This page continues the Super Robot Wars F coverage, showcasing more robots and units. It highlights the debut of Wing Gundam Zero from New Mobile Report Gundam Wing, mentioning Hiro Yui as the pilot, and emphasizing that not only Gundams, but also Oz-side mobile suits will appear in the game. The article points out the presence of Mercurius and V8 from screenshots, hinting at the inclusion of Leos too. Next up is Gunbuster from Aim for the Top. Gunbusters, described as a masterpiece OVA anime. It talks about the impressive mecha design, and promises the powerful gunbuster will be present in the game, allowing players to experience its strength once again. The page also features Master Gundam from Mobile Fighter G Gundam, noting its unique Eastern unbeaten fighting style and mentioning how its strength is a hot topic in the series. Getter 1 from Getter Robo is presented as Getter Robo's initial form, evolving into Shin Getters in the games. Versus Gundam from Victory Gundam is shown with its beam saber and shield, highlighting its role as the main unit of the series. Finally, Mazinger Z, a classic super robot, is mentioned, emphasizing its iconic status and strong moves like Rocket Punch. This page highlights the greatly enhanced main game of Super Robot Wars F. The story section emphasizes the large number of scenarios, around 110 in total, which is about 1.5 times more than previous entries in the series, up to Super Robot Wars 4. The developers aimed for a volume of content comparable to or exceeding Super Robot Wars 4, with each playthrough expected to take about 40 hours. The battle section boasts a huge voice cast of 130 voice actors for the game. It mentions that despite the SD-size robots, the battles are visually impressive, with detailed animations and effects. Loading times are also said to be improved, compared to the P/PS version of Super Robot Wars 4. The game will feature over 250 voiced characters, making the battle scenes very lively and engaging. Finally, the page introduces original character robots, common in the Super Robot Wars series. These include Cybaster, a magical machine piloted by Masaki and Sando, which can transform into a bird form and uses wind spirit magic; Huckabine, which appeared in Super Robot Wars 4 and is an energy-based real robot piloted by a player-selected character; and Zamzeed, a spirit machine piloted by Mio Sasuga, who uses earth spirit magic. Screenshots on the page show in-game battle scenes and dialogue boxes. This page is showcasing J-League Pro Soccer Club Otsukuru 2, which roughly translates to, "Let's create a J-League Pro Soccer Club 2. It seems to be a sequel, and is currently under the tentative title 2, temporary name. The page highlights a new feature called Player Edit, where you can create and customize your own avatar to be part of your soccer club management. The article emphasizes that this feature lets players create their own alter ego within the game. You can customize your player's appearance, and it seems this player can interact with famous soccer players in the game. The article also touches upon the game's genre, describing it as a command simulation style game, where matches are not action-based but focused on strategy and team management. It mentions that this approach proved popular in the previous game, appealing to many users who enjoyed the strategic depth. The reviewer notes that this sequel builds upon the strengths of the original, offering even deeper gameplay. The screenshots show the player edit screen and in-game scenes focusing on team management and player condition. It looks like you'll be managing various aspects, like player morale, training, and team tactics to lead your club to victory. This page is diving into the new features of J-League Pro Soccer Club Otsukuru 2, the sequel to the popular club management sim. They're highlighting the brand new Stadium Command, which is all about town development. It looks like you can directly manage facilities and supporter clubs, impacting not just your team, but also the town around it, which is a cool new layer. They've also beefed up the hometown selection. Now you can choose from much more detailed areas, even down to specific wards within cities. This adds a deeper level of local connection to your club. The clubhouse is getting an upgrade too, focusing on player development and facility improvements. They're emphasizing player training and making the clubhouse bigger and better than before. The article includes an interview with one of the developers, Ohashi Osamu, who talks about incorporating player feedback from the first game. He mentions they're aiming to fix any shortcomings and generally make everything bigger and better in 2. They're even using motion capture to enhance player animations, showing they're really pushing for a more polished experience. Overall, it sounds like they're taking the core of what made the first game great and expanding on it with meaningful new features and improvements based on what fans wanted. This page dives into the player edit feature of J-League Pro Soccer Club Otsukuru 2, letting you create yourself as a superstar player. The game lets you edit everything from your name, blood type, birthplace, and personality right down to your face, using pre-made parts to create a montage-style likeness. The developer mentions that in the previous game, you couldn't create your own face, but now you have full control to make a player that looks just like you. Moving on, they briefly cover schedule management, where you handle the season schedule, participate in league matches, and aim for the playoffs. Then, finally, The match begins. Section explains that during matches, you can't directly control players, but you can scout for new talent and adjust your team's tactics. There's also a note about player nicknames, emphasizing their importance, as they'll be used in the in-game commentary. The developer mentions that they've added a lot of face parts to customize your player and create someone who really resembles you. They suggest having fun mixing and matching parts to create unique faces, even comparing it to making golden combos like J-League's Kazu and Combi. They've also thought about password length for sharing created players, aiming for something manageable, and are looking to improve on the previous game in terms of user feedback and overall enjoyment. This page showcases the game Willy Wombat, boasting itself as a new kind of 4D action title. The game emphasizes forwards for action, which are listed as direct, discover, dramatic, and double boomerang, hinting at the gameplay elements. You can see the main character, Willy Wombat himself, looking quite mischievous, and another character called Tagdor, who seems to be a more brutish, spiky character wielding a Morningstar-type weapon. The article highlights that Willy Wombat is aiming to be a flagship title for action games, using polygonal graphics and offering a free viewpoint camera. It also mentions that the story is deeper than what's typical for action games, aiming to establish a new standard in the genre. There are screenshots showing the gameplay, suggesting it's a 3D platformer where you control Willy to navigate environments and interact with other characters. This page continues the focus on Willy Wombat, highlighting how it aims to break the mold of traditional games. The page showcases the main character Willy, a blue wombat hero, alongside two new characters. Notes: a cool and collected black rabbit, who seems to be connected to Willy, and Java, a laid-back, somewhat goofy-looking dog character. The article emphasizes the game's action elements, particularly the killer boomerang action, which seems to be a core gameplay mechanic. Screenshots depict Willy in 3D environments, battling enemies, using boomerangs, and navigating platforming sections. It reiterates that Willy Wombat is an action game, and mentions the Miracle Gem as something related to the story and gameplay. A special reports section indicates the game is 80% complete, and lists Hudson as the developer, with release and pricing information still to be determined. It also confirms Willy Wombat is an action game aimed at all ages and is a single-player experience. The page essentially reinforces the game's action focus, introduces supporting characters, and gives a progress update on its development. Willy Wombat is defined by 4 key Ds. The first, direct, highlights the intuitive camera controls using L and R buttons for full 360-degree viewing, a novel feature for its time. Discover emphasizes exploration and hidden items, encouraging players to manipulate the camera to find secrets. Dramatic points to the engaging, story-driven nature of the game, aiming for a cinematic experience. Finally, Double Boomerang introduces the game's core combat mechanic, featuring 2 boomerangs for combat and puzzle solving, requiring mastery for success. This page is an interview with the developers of Willy Wombat, Goino Tomohisa, who is the director and planner, and Miyamoto Norihito, the producer. They are discussing the game's development, with Goino mentioning that they aim to create a stress-free game that feels good to play. One challenge they faced was the 360-degree camera, which required them to create 16 graphic patterns per character to ensure they looked right from every angle. Miyamoto highlights the team of 5 people working on maps, dedicated to producing high-quality textures and artwork. They talk about the player experience and synchronization with in-game actions, aiming for natural controls. Miyamoto describes the game world as a diorama that they want players to explore thoroughly, reflecting on the transition from 2D side-scrolling games. Goino mentions wanting to bring that intuitive feel to a 3D action game. The boomerang action is mentioned as a key element. Both developers express their passion and commitment to making Willy Wombat a great game for everyone to enjoy. The next page showcases a special scenario in the Neon Genesis Evangelion game for SEGA Saturn, called Sight of Her Back. This episode focuses on Rei Ayanami, and it seems to be a hidden scenario for dedicated fans. The page highlights points to achieve this scenario, suggesting it's not immediately obvious during a normal playthrough and requires specific choices. It looks like a guide, featuring a flowchart that maps out the decision-making path to unlock this scenario. It details choices you need to make, mentioning things like selecting specific dialogue options and actions within the game, like visiting Nerve HQ and interacting with Rei and Shinji. The reviewer seems excited about this scenario, describing it as a must-see for Rei and fans, and suggesting it offers a deeper, more emotional experience. They hint at a moving ending and emphasize that the choices you make will lead you to this special conclusion. The page also mentions that in this scenario, Shinji is placed on standby, allowing the story to progress within Nerve HQ. It sounds like this scenario offers a unique perspective and emotional depth for players invested in Rei's character. The next page delves into more details about the Neon Genesis Evangelion Second Impression game, highlighting an Omake no Heya, or bonus room section. It seems there's a special unison game mode within the game, and interestingly, a version voiced by Megumi Hayashibara, Rei's voice actress, is also available. The page reveals the conditions to unlock this unison game, stating you need to achieve a degree of achievement of 10 or higher. It looks like this mode involves gameplay sections with Rei and Asuka, and the page suggests that by meeting certain conditions, players can even unlock a special file named Megumi and Unison, which then needs to be registered with your name. Furthermore, going back to the Rei scenario hinted at on the previous page, this page explicitly mentions, a date with Rei, and teases a dinner scene with Rei. It warns that wrong choices might lead to a sad ending, but assures players that by making the right decisions, they can experience this special scenario. The bottom section provides some gameplay tips, mentioning features like a polygon viewer, skipping text, and saving game data. Overall, this page focuses on exciting bonus content and hidden elements within the Evangelion game, encouraging players to explore deeper for special scenarios and extra features. This page is all about the SEGA Saturn game, Doron Doron. It's based on the classic anime Time Bokan series and is described as a perfect version of a shooting game. Apparently, a previous version called Pokémon 2 Isho Dorombo was well received on PlayStation, and this Saturn version is even more powered up with movies, BGM, and voices. The main focus is on the villain team, the Dorombo Gang, featuring Tanzura, Doranjo, and Boyaki, who are described as the strongest villains in the series. The game involves collecting 100 Dokuro stones to transform into a giant mecha. You select your own mecha for shooting stages, and there are 9 types in total for 3 players. At the game start, you can choose from 6 types, including original mecha and even Shirinko from the anime. The page shows screenshots of gameplay and introduces different mecha you can use, like Time Recorder, Denden Mecha, Gaikotsu, and Ando R Megamaru. It also features the vehicles for the Dorombo Gang like Tansura Car, Doron Joker, Boyaki Car, Sherko Baby Buggy, and Sherko Baby Mecha, alongside the Shirinko. It's mentioned that if you hold the Dakuro Bomb while taking damage, you can fight against the giant villain Mecha with Shirinko. It looks like a fun and chaotic shooting game based on a beloved anime. The next page introduces the heroic characters from the Time Bokan series, who will feature in Doron Doron. It highlights heroes from different anime within the franchise, such as Yatterman, Yatodedaman, Itadakiman, and Gyakuten Ipatsuman, with character art and in-game screenshots to show how they appear. Each hero section also lists the original broadcast dates of their respective anime series. The page emphasizes the inclusion of nostalgic elements, like classic background music and character voice lines from the original shows. It also mentions that the Saturn version of Doron Doron boasts brand new, original animated movie sequences. There's even a section dedicated to an interview with Yamamoto Masayuki, the singer of the iconic Time Bokan theme songs, where he discusses his involvement in creating music for the game. Essentially, this page is building hype for Doron Doron on SEGA Saturn as the definitive Time Bokan game experience for fans. Side Pocket 3 is the latest 3D polygon billiards game, boasting significant graphic upgrades for enhanced realism and detailed shots, including draw and curve shots unavailable in previous iterations. The game features motion capture for realistic character movements and fully 3D cue and ball physics. A key highlight is the Mystery Touch story mode, along with a total of 4 game modes. Players navigate a mansion, interacting with characters within a mystery narrative. The game offers a wide array of gameplay options, including 11 rule variations like 9-ball and 8-ball. 2-player matches are supported. Additional modes include viewpoint selection, a training mode, and a trick game mode. Comprehensive online help is also available, promising a diverse and engaging billiards experience. This page announces that the Saturn version of Last Bronx is confirmed to be exhibited at the Tokyo Game Show. It's highlighted as a big news item that the Saturn version, known as Last Bronx, will be playable at the show starting April 4th. The focus is on the throwing motions of each character, which are now complete. Screenshots showcase in-game action featuring characters Yusaku vs. Nagi and Tommy vs. Yoko. The text emphasizes that while not dramatically different visually, the Saturn version is progressing steadily, and this build features Yoko's throwing motions captured and implemented. It mentions that the character models shown in previous reports are complete, and they are curious if all character techniques are included. The game director, Mr. Yasube, is quoted as saying he wants users to actually play it and get their feedback at the show. He also hints at talk shows and events featuring game developers at the venue. The bottom right corner states the game's completion is at step 125% towards the full arcade port. Key details include SEGA as the publisher, an early summer release window, undecided pricing, and it being a versus fighting game. The text at the bottom also teases that the next issue will feature the show version of the game, with backgrounds included. This page reveals the latest game from the team behind Eternal Melody called Yukyu Gensukyoku, which translates roughly to Eternal Fantasy Rhapsody. It's described as a dramatic training simulation game focused on communication and building relationships. The game's setting is a fantasy world where friendship and human connections are key themes. It blends RPG elements with racing simulation and apparently features dungeon exploration and battles to keep things exciting. We get introduced to some of the main characters. There's Sheila Sheffield, Lisa Mechner, Patty Soul, Aleph Carlson, Cross Christopher, and someone named El Khan. The story revolves around the main character who gets falsely accused of a crime. To prove their innocence, they need to run a short shop and win the trust of the town residents, which suggests a gameplay loop of managing the shop and interacting with characters. The game is from MediaWorks and is slated for release in July as a racing simulation for one player, priced at 5,800 yen. This Sega Saturn page announces a variety of new and upcoming games. New release titles include shoot-em-ups like Salamander Deluxe Pack Plus, beat-em-ups such as 3 Dirty Dwarves, and sports titles like J-League Go Go Goal. Other genres include platformers, Blackthorn, fighting games, Funky Headboxers Plus, and highly anticipated titles like Mega Man X4. Additionally, there are idle racing, Hopstep Idle, and adventure games. Ebarouge Marie no Kimamana Oshaberi. Simulation titles, Digi Aqua World, Digitin Toy, and communication-focused games, Free Talk Studio, are also featured. Coming soon soft. Highlights racing games, Monster Slider, action titles, Contra, Legacy of War, Metal Slug, and RPGs, Shinsetsu Samurai Spirits Bushido Retsuden, Dragon Master Silk. A unique audio adventure, Real Sound Kaze, No Regret, is also listed. Finally, released right before, showcases strategy games like Shinkaite Gunkan, the dating sim spin-off Tokimeki Memorial Drama Series Volume 1, Nijiro no Seishun, and robot fighting game Cyberbots, Full Metal Madness. Other strategy titles include Sangokushi Kumaiden and historical strategy games. This page previews the Sega Saturn release of Salamander Deluxe Pack Plus, a compilation of classic shoot-'em-up games. It's a must-have for fans, featuring 3 titles and bonus movie content from Gradius Deluxe Pack. The content highlights Salamander 2, detailing its story, graphical upgrades, and FM stereo sound. It further explains the option shoot mechanic, showcasing its strategic use in gameplay with screenshots. Finally, the page covers Life Force, the international version of Salamander, noting its graphical, power-up, and boss design variations compared to the original Japanese release. The page aims to generate excitement for this compilation of arcade classics. This page showcases 2 upcoming Sega Saturn titles. First up is Sleazy Dirty Dwarves, an action game featuring 3 unique dwarves who use sports equipment as weapons. It sounds like a chaotic and fun experience where you can smash enemies with baseball bats and bowling balls in a city setting. The game promises action-packed gameplay with a sporty twist. Then there's J-League Go Go Goal, a polygonal soccer game aiming for realism. They're boasting about the smooth 60 frames per second animation, detailed player movements, and the ability to execute tactical team plays using commands like offside trap. It seems they've focused on capturing the speed and techniques of real soccer, offering deep strategic gameplay. The page also mentions updated player data and new uniforms for the '97 season, suggesting this is a significant update for fans of the series. They highlight the run and stop button system for dribbling, and feints for more nuanced control over the players. This page features 4 upcoming titles for the Sega Saturn. First up is Funky Head Boxers Plus, which is marked as 100% complete. This looks like a powered-up version of the original game, promising easier controls, adjusted CPU difficulty, and even new characters to play as, including hidden characters previously hard to unlock. It sounds like they've made it more accessible for newcomers, while still offering something new for existing fans. Next is Rockman X4, or Mega Man X4 as it's known internationally. It's currently 30% complete, and showcased with screenshots of early development. The article emphasizes the visual improvements, and hints at new features like ride armor and body parts, hyping up the evolution of the X series. And then we have Black Dawn, another 100% complete title. This one's a 3D shooting game where you pilot a combat helicopter. They're highlighting realistic movement and controls, mission-based gameplay, and varied objectives like rescuing civilians and destroying targets. It sounds like a serious and immersive 3D shooter experience. Finally, there's Hop Step Idol, at 40% completion. This is described as a female user-targeted idol training, simulation game. It sounds like the gameplay revolves around building relationships, managing your idol group, and navigating industry drama, including scandals and romantic elements. You play as a producer and have to handle the complexities of managing young idols and their careers, even dealing with potential same-sex relationships among the group members. This page dives into a couple more upcoming Sega Saturn titles. First, we have Free Talk Studio Mari's Carefree Chat, which is nearly finished at 95% completion. This one puts you in the shoes of a radio DJ, and it sounds pretty unique. You're picking voice actors' conversations and shaping them into radio programs. It seems like there's a focus on choosing the right guest from a bunch of quirky personalities and dealing with unexpected on-air happenings. They mention you need to make snap judgments, and it's all about quick thinking in a live broadcast scenario. It even has a replay mode so you can listen back to your creations. Next up is Eba Rouge, at 90% completion. This is described as a full-voice love simulation game, originally from PC. It seems to be set in a magic academy, over 5 years of in-game time. You'll be juggling academics, martial arts, magic training, and, of course, building relationships with your classmates. They're highlighting the rich events and character interactions, promising a deep love simulation experience with fully voiced characters and beautiful visuals, especially emphasizing the depth of the romantic elements and character development. This page showcases a couple of interesting titles. First up is Elf Wokaru Monotachi, or Those Who Hunt Elves, which is about 80% complete. This adventure game, based on the anime, puts you in the role of curse removers. You'll be investigating elf bodies, a bit gruesome, to lift curses, and forming a party of 3 humans and a dog. It sounds like they're adding original story elements beyond the anime, emphasizing character interactions and the fun of their dialogue. They also mention an extra CD packed with goodies and voice acting. Moving on, we have 2 puzzle games that are both 100% complete. Deji Tin Toy is all about jigsaw puzzles featuring toys. They say it really feels like putting together a real jigsaw, where you drag pieces from the side and even overlap them. Finishing puzzles unlocks movie clips. Then there's Deji Aqua World, a jigsaw puzzle game focusing on beautiful tropical fish. Apparently, after finishing these puzzles, you get a bonus movie where you swim with the tropical fish you've just puzzled together, which sounds pretty unique as a reward. This page focuses on GD.net and their presence at Tokyo Game Show '97 Spring. It introduces GD.net as a network aiming to create better games through collaboration in technology, personnel, marketing, and management, ultimately aiming to make better games. They are showcasing a range of RPG titles, including Grandia, which seems to be a major highlight. The page teases a preview section, suggesting a closer look at these games. It boasts a super volume of 32 pages dedicated to GDNet's titles at the Tokyo Game Show. Games featured with screenshots include Grandia. This is prominently displayed, indicating its importance. Slayer's Royal 2, another highlighted title. Magical School Lunar, likely related to the Lunar series. Lunar,
Silver Star Story MPEG version, an updated version of the classic RPG Baroque, a title with a distinctive visual style. Silhouette Mirage, known for its unique gameplay mechanics. Sengoku Tensei, Chaos Seed, localized as Chaos Seed. Feng Shui Geo Manga internationally. The central banner excitedly announces, GD.net, the talk of the town. Big titles all at once, public release. Emphasizing the buzz around GD.net and the reveal of these anticipated games. This page is dedicated to the highly anticipated RPG Grandia from GameArts, a flagship title promoted for the SEGA Saturn. The article emphasizes Grandia's groundbreaking features, including full polygon backgrounds, hand-drawn characters, and top-notch CG visuals. GD.net fueled the hype, positioning it as a must-play RPG. The article focuses on the intense anticipation from Saturn fans and the upcoming playable demo scheduled for June. The demo, distributed for free, would showcase areas like Palm Town and a dungeon, alongside CG movies and character introductions. The page also highlights GameArts' history and technical expertise, citing their PC game roots and experience with titles like Sylphid and Gungraphon, stressing Grandia represents an evolution in game design. The overall purpose of the page was to build excitement for the game and its upcoming demo. This page delves deeper into the Grandia universe, focusing on what makes it special. It highlights the game's stunning CG movies, which are described as a perfect blend of hand-drawn anime-style characters within detailed CG environments, creating a warm and exciting atmosphere. The article then moves on to the game world, showcasing military bases and weapons, emphasizing the realistic and detailed polygon graphics used to depict these locations from the industrial era, hinting at a world with advanced technology. The page also introduces two main characters: Justin, a spirited and slightly mischievous 14-year-old protagonist who dreams of adventure and becoming a great adventurer like his father, and Sue, Justin's 8-year-old fashionable and energetic childhood friend who is always with him. The descriptions give us a glimpse into their personalities and relationships, setting the stage for their adventures. Overall, the page emphasizes the visual and character-driven aspects of Grandia, building further excitement for this highly anticipated RPG. The Grandia world is explored, specifically focusing on the industrial town of Parm, bustling with activity, trains, and steamboats. Key locations in Parm include Umi Neko Lily, a restaurant run by Justin's mother, the Pearl Memorial Museum, and the Station Front Plaza. Outside of Parm lies the Salt Ruins, ancient structures shrouded in mystery and older than 10,000 years. Illusions of Garai nights haunt the ruins, generating local rumors. The article introduces Lean, a beautiful, enigmatic girl, possibly an illusion, appearing in the Salt Ruins. Known as Receipt, her true identity is unknown. However, Justin is drawn to the ruins due to rumors surrounding Lean, and eventually encounters her, who directs him towards a Resine, hinting at a grand adventure. This page delves deeper into Justin and his companion's adventure in Grandia, focusing on two key locations and a new character. First, we journey to the Lek Mine, located southwest of Parm. This mine, once a quarry, is now abandoned and rumored to be haunted by beastly cries, scaring away locals. The article suggests exciting events will unfold here, showing screenshots of Justin navigating the mine tracks in a minecart, clearly inspired by Indiana Jones. Next, the focus shifts to the ferry journey to the new continent. After meeting Lean at the Salt Ruins, Justin and Sue embark on this voyage. The new continent is described as less developed than the old continent, promising a sense of unexplored adventure. The article highlights the various encounters expected during the weeks-long journey by sea. Screenshots depict conversations with fellow passengers and scenes of ship maintenance, suggesting interactions and tasks beyond just traveling. Finally, we are introduced to Fina, a skilled and beautiful adventurer from New Parm, described as the heroine of Grandia. She is a highly regarded adventurer, popular among her peers, and known for her bright personality. Fina is set to join Justin and Sue, solidifying the party and marking the beginning of a grand adventure on the new continent. This page continues to follow Justin's Grandia adventure, starting with a spooky encounter with a ghost ship. Even in a world with advanced technology, mysteries remain, and Justin stumbles upon a ghost ship during his sea voyage. This ship is unlike anything he's seen before, with a bizarre interior decorated with fish bones and a strange atmosphere not found in Parm. Next, we arrive at New Parm,
the gateway to the new continent. Despite Justin expecting a wild frontier, New Parm is already bustling with migrants and rapidly developing, though still less industrialized than the old continent. It's a vibrant city with lively streets where Justin quickly finds himself caught up in various requests from the locals. You can hear songs like Song of the Great Desert and Song of the Ghost Ship being sung, and people readily ask Justin for help. Interestingly, New Parm is located about a 4-week journey inland from the coast. The article emphasizes that the adventure is far from over. New Parm is just the beginning of the new continent, with the truly unexplored regions lying deeper inland, towards what's called the edge of the world. The new continent is described as having many uncharted areas, promising more stories and adventures as Justin continues to explore. The story is set to ramp up as Justin delves deeper into the new continent. This page is all about Grandia's amazing real-time battle system and incredible animations. The article highlights how battles in Grandia are not turn-based but real-time, outside of command input, requiring players to strategically consider enemy and ally positioning and actions. It mentions that up to 10 characters can participate in battles, creating dynamic and engaging encounters. The page emphasizes that battles are not just about action but also about timing character commands effectively. Besides standard attacks, magic is also a key component, featuring elements like fire and wind, affecting monsters differently based on their attributes. Sound effects and character voice lines are also highlighted as adding to the lively and engaging battle experience. The article then raves about the monster animation patterns, stating that monsters have diverse animations comparable to the main playable characters. It gives examples of monster animations with sprite sequences, showcasing their detailed movements. Similarly, character animations are also praised, with examples of various actions during battle, like magic casting, dashing, and attack poses, showcasing the fluidity and detail of character movements during combat. Victory poses, and even defeated animations are shown to demonstrate the range of character expressions in battle. Finally, the page also mentions that magic effects are visually spectacular and add to the overall excitement of the battles. GameArt's Miyagi Takeshi discusses the upcoming RPG, Grandia, promising a new evolution in the genre. The game aims to blend cinematic and gameplay elements, drawing inspiration from but surpassing titles like Final Fantasy Version 2. The story will begin small but expand to a world-spanning narrative. Visually, Grandia seeks a digital feel with analog human elements, prioritizing genuine emotional expression in character interactions and dialogue. The article highlights Kimura Takuya's award-winning CG work, which beautifully integrates nostalgic robot imagery with a fresh artistic vision for the game's movie sequences. Miyagi anticipates these CG movies will enhance the player experience, hinting that Grandia is poised to be a groundbreaking title. This page delves deeper into the development of Grandia, with an interview section titled Grandia Production Update. Miyagi from GameArts is asked about the current status of the game and the demo version. He explains that the overall game grade is being unified for balance, focusing on image quality and character models for CG movies, which are nearing completion. He mentions the team is working on sound effects in collaboration with Skywalker Sound and adjusting the battle balance. The page then transitions to discuss the Grandia demo version. What to watch for. Miyagi states, the purpose of the demo is to let players experience the fun of touching and playing, rather than just watching the game. The demo will feature exploration of Parm Town, interactions with characters who live there, and a dungeon area. The story in the demo starts in Parm, and it includes original events specifically for the demo. The demo aims to give a feel for the analog-like controls and overall gameplay. Miyagi mentions the demo will be available at the Tokyo Game Show '97 spring, and encourages players to try it out and experience the RPG's depth, even in the demo version, emphasizing that it's packed with content. This page is all about the upcoming SEGA Saturn game, Slayers Royal, billing it as a popular simulation RPG from the well-loved Slayers universe. The page highlights the characters you'll encounter, focusing on Lena Inverse and Guri Gabriev. We get a rundown of Lena, described as a powerful sorceress despite her small stature, who acts as a righteous thief, always seeking treasure and adventure. Gori is introduced as Lena's self-proclaimed bodyguard and a skilled swordsman, possessing the legendary Sword of Light. He's portrayed as a reliable ally, but sometimes a bit slow on the uptake. There's a Slayers lecture section, explaining the difference between the main Slayers novels and the shorter Slayers special stories, suggesting Slayers Royal falls into the latter category, emphasizing the more lighthearted, comedy-focused spin-off nature of these titles. It mentions the main series as epic in scale, while the special stories are comedic side adventures. The page also provides some key details for Slayers Royal. It's a 3D RPG, slated for release in July, price to be determined, fully voiced, and for single players. It looks like they are aiming for a fun, character-driven experience based on the popular anime and light novel series. This page spotlights Slayers Royal for the Saturn, showcasing characters and gameplay. It introduces several key characters: Lena Inverse's rival, Naga the Serpent, a powerful but erratic sorceress, Zelgadus, a chimera seeking his origins and skilled in swordsmanship and magic, and Amelia, a justice-seeking, though sometimes naive, princess. A new character, Lark the Elf, is introduced, suggesting he will play a pivotal role in the game's story. The page also mentions developers Kadokawa Shoten and Onion Egg, highlighting their collaboration and previous work on Lunar Silver Star Story, with a quote emphasizing their commitment to Saturn's innovation and quality. This page delves into the gameplay systems of Slayers Royal, highlighting its original taste, pain-free battle system. It introduces the Ring Command System, a tactical battle approach where character actions are chosen using icons appearing above their heads. The gameplay is described as turn-based, but with a sense of real-time action as everyone moves simultaneously after commands are input. The interface allows for strategic play by letting you read enemy movements and plan accordingly. The page also mentions magic, emphasizing that familiar Slayer spells are faithfully recreated in the game, showcasing examples like Dragon Slave and Plasma Arrow. It points out that while basic spells might just put enemies to sleep, powerful magic from the Demon Lord class can be incredibly effective, true to the source material. However, stronger spells require longer incantations, leaving openings for enemies, so strategic use and protecting spellcasters are crucial. Moving on to the city adventure aspect, the game emphasizes interactive environments. You can directly click on parts of the screen to investigate objects like signs and doors, prompting character reactions and dialogue. The city is filled with interactive NPCs and mini-quests, offering events based on your choices, even allowing you to change party members at inns. It suggests a dynamic city experience, where player interaction leads to various adventures and conversations. Slayers Royal gameplay emphasizes the comedic chaos of magic and character interactions. Spells have unpredictable consequences, sometimes harming allies. The article humorously illustrates how spells like sleep and area of effect attacks can knock out your party, yet this friendly fire contributes to the game's lighthearted, unpredictable battles. The game uses a world map for navigation between locations like Selyun, Cusack, and Parkland Forest. Players select destinations on the map, suggesting a point-and-click travel system before transitioning to the individual locations. This page is all about unveiling event scenes from a Slayers game. We get a peek at some scenes, including what looks like Lena Inverse and Zelgadus in a tavern setting, suggesting a new adventure is starting. There's also a scene in a forest, perhaps hinting at where their journey is taking them. The article mentions these event scenes use full-screen visuals with added sound effects, and they're picking up on the CG events particularly. They're also introducing a new original character named Lakak. Apparently, the voice actors are the same familiar voices from the TV anime, which is a nice touch. Then there's a staff interview with Teru Ishizuka from Gionic Egg. He talks about developing the game and how it's progressing smoothly, focusing on the Slayers world. They aim to create a game that really lets you enjoy the Slayers universe, and the gameplay is described as being like a TRPG, emphasizing character development and letting players really immerse themselves in the story and the different situations they encounter. He mentions that they are prioritizing the scenario and aiming for a game that's enjoyable to play through for the story itself, rather than just focusing on level-ups or complex systems. The upcoming Slayers game, Something Moves Out, is an original story set between the first two seasons of the anime. The game explores a world disrupted by the fall of major antagonists, leading to demon activity. Gameplay will involve exploring familiar Slayers locations in a TRPG style, emphasizing character development and story immersion. While battle characters use dot-based visuals, the developers are enhancing the presentation with impressive effects and detailed cutscenes. The game will feature voice acting in key scenes and dungeons, with the original anime cast returning. The developers are also overseeing the American version's voice acting to ensure quality. The game introduces an original character, Lakak, designed to fit seamlessly into the Slayers universe. Development is progressing well, with a demo planned for a game show. This page showcases the Lunar series of games for the SEGA Saturn, highlighting a new title and an updated version of a classic. It announces Magic Academy Lunar, which seems to be a school drama spin-off in the Lunar universe, described as a different take on the series with a lighter, more comedic tone compared to the main games. The page emphasizes that this new Lunar game is coming to Saturn quickly and will feature anime movie scenes and improved graphics. It also mentions the upcoming release of Lunar Silver Star Story MPEG version. This MPEG version is being touted for its enhanced anime cutscenes presented in full-screen, TV-size format, with OVA-quality visuals and sound. It seems to be aiming to recreate the anime scenes from the game with high fidelity. As a bonus, this version will also include a trading card. The article positions the Lunar series as a staple RPG on the Saturn, and suggests fans will enjoy both the new school drama game and the enhanced Silver Star Story release.
SEGA Saturn is getting 2 new Lunar games. Magic Academy Lunar focuses on school life, featuring characters Win, Rina, Eri, and Senya. Screenshots reveal anime cutscenes, battle scenes with cooperative attacks, and 2D environments. The battle system includes combined techniques, a series staple. Lunar Silver Star Story MPEG version is for Saturns with the movie card, offering enhanced, OVA-quality anime cutscenes in full screen and includes a trading card. Magic Academy Lunar will feature an anime theater with roughly 10 minutes of anime footage showcasing cute character designs and voice acting. Both games are RPGs. This page introduces Baroque, a new RPG from Sting. The game is described as a 3D RPG, where everything unfolds from the player's perspective and the mysteries are revealed through their actions. The word Baroque itself is said to mean distorted pearl, hinting at the game's themes. Set in a devastated future after a catastrophic event called the Great Heatwave, the story begins as the protagonist heads towards a place called the Nerve Tower. The world is constantly changing and decaying, filled with bizarre creatures. The protagonist is burdened by sin and seeks to understand the distorted world and the secrets of the Nerve Tower. Baroque's system is highlighted as a multiple plot system. Unlike typical branching narratives, player character actions significantly influence the world and story progression, leading to diverse developments and experiences. The example given is that monsters, even if they seem defeated, might reappear in different forms and impact the story in unexpected ways, meaning the game world dynamically reacts to player choices beyond simple story branches. The page features a peculiar character design, labeled Angel Coelial. The overall impression is that Baroque aims to be a unique and unconventional RPG experience. This page delves deeper into the world of Baroque, confirming its unique and somewhat unsettling atmosphere. It reiterates the Great Heatwave as the cataclysmic event that warped the world, and the player is drawn to the Nerve Tower. The game emphasizes player freedom, stating it goes beyond typical RPGs. While there are set locations, how you approach and interact with them is open, allowing players to deeply immerse themselves in the game world and experiment. We are introduced to key characters. Alice is described as a mysterious girl you encounter, while Eliza is another enigmatic girl found in the Nerve Tower, seemingly linked to its secrets and purification. Angel Coelial is reiterated as a decoration angel, equipped with ornament armor, tied to a religious order who believe they are angels and see the protagonist as divine. Little Angel appears to be a small, cherubic companion that flies around the Nerve Tower and offers guidance. Finally, the protagonist, the main character, is highlighted as someone who has lost their memory, carries a sin, and is driven to cleanse the world. This page highlights the impressive 3D graphics of the Saturn game, Baroque, emphasizing its detailed environments and smooth camera movement for an immersive experience. The game's core gameplay revolves around a dynamically changing world influenced by player actions. The Nerve Tower's structure and other elements shift based on the player's choices, ensuring unique gameplay encounters. Item placement, enemy appearances, and even player character states are constantly altered. Players face grotesque abnormals, enemies born from a distorted world. These aggressive creatures, found inside and outside the Nerve Tower, possess varied intelligence and attack methods. The page showcases design sketches of these creatures, underscoring the intricate details of their forms and attack patterns. This page delves deeper into the world of Baroque, highlighting the game's real-time 3D environments, particularly the central location, the Nerve Tower. It's described as a constantly shifting and changing space, almost like a living entity, reacting to player actions. Moving on to the enemies, they're called abnormals and are grotesque beings inhabiting both the Nerve Tower and the outside world. These aren't just mindless monsters. They have varying levels of intelligence and different attack patterns. We get to see some design sketches showing the intricate details of these creatures and their movements, along with wireframe models showcasing the detailed modeling process used to bring them to life on the Saturn. The page also touches upon the strategic elements of Baroque. The gameplay emphasizes real-time combat and a dynamic world where enemy positions and items constantly change. It stresses that relying on predictable, patterned gameplay won't work. Players need to adapt to the situation and think strategically, especially regarding item usage, as the effectiveness of items varies based on the circumstances and how you use them. Lastly, there's a section focusing on Sting, the developers of Baroque, and their history. It mentions that Sting was founded in '89 and developed Treasure Hunter G on Super Famicom. The article includes a quote from a Sting representative who jokingly expresses bewilderment and excitement about how the game is turning out, questioning if it will even work properly with all the features they are implementing, in a very lighthearted manner. Baroque, a real-time action game, features a lone protagonist navigating the Nerve Tower and surrounding areas, foregoing traditional towns and a party system. Combat emphasizes situational awareness, with scrolling maps and enemy attacks from all sides. Leveling is present, but knowledge and adaptability are key to success, not just stats. Magic is absent, but varied item effects exist, utilizing rod/club weapons and painful traps. The game includes movie sequences and a silent protagonist. The 3D environment, designed for vertical movement, is optimized for detailed close-up walls via textures and parallax. The engine can handle up to 18 enemies simultaneously. Sound design is crucial, featuring 3D sound effects. Multiple thought-provoking endings are planned. Despite technical challenges, the developers prioritize visual quality and overall production, even if time-consuming. Baroque, about 30+1 questions, offers insights into the game Baroque. The story centers on a memory-lost, guilt-ridden protagonist navigating the mysterious Nerve Tower, guided by angels. Sting, the developer, aims to stimulate player senses. Development is secretive, but progressing rapidly in Tokyo and Hiroshima, with a showing planned at an April game show. The game utilizes 3D models and has a small, dedicated team, anticipating at least 30 hours of gameplay. Plans for other media are centered around Baroque. Yokotani Mitsuyoshi, the director, is energetic and dedicated, having previously worked on Treasure Hunter G. This page showcases Silhouette Mirage from Treasure, emphasizing their reputation for action games with the tagline, "If it's action, leave it to Treasure." It highlights Silhouette Mirage as a shooting action game that stands out with its unique system of two attributes, Silhouette and Mirage, that players need to strategically use. The article describes the game as starring a bright and energetic heroine named Shayna, in a slightly unusual modern setting. It notes the comical and detailed character and stage designs, promising engaging gameplay and satisfying action. Treasure, known for games like Guardian Heroes, is positioned as a reliable developer for action enthusiasts, and the article expresses strong anticipation for this new title, stating it's bound to be a hit. The page also includes screenshots of the gameplay and character art. A yellow box lists details such as the genre being shooting action, player count is 1, and target audience is all ages, with release date and price to be determined. This page explores Silhouette Mirage, focusing on the heroine, Coin, Shayna Narashayna, a 14-year-old half-spirit tasked with saving Earth. She uses both Mirage and Silhouette attributes, which are central to gameplay. Her rival, Zophar, also a half-spirit, mirrors Coin, and is around 17 years old. Zophar has two forms, Zophar Mount, Silhouette, and Zophar SP, Mirage, reflecting attribute duality and is driven by Mirage. The game's combat system hinges on these attributes. Silhouette and Mirage abilities are unique to the Mirage genus, a new human species born after the Day of Division. Silhouette types are melee-focused, and Mirage types excel at ranged combat. The page introduces two enemy types, Cupito, a small, group-fighting silhouetted enemy, and Devil, a large, powerful ranged Mirage enemy. Screenshots showcase the gameplay and attribute system. This page dives deeper into Silhouette Mirage, starting with the story, where heroine Shayna awakens from sleep to a world in chaos due to sudden changes. She's guided by Gehenna, a support system program acting as an advisor embedded in her body, on a mission to rebuild the world. The page highlights the game's unique shooting system based on attributes. Shayna's shots change depending on her facing direction. Silhouette shot when facing left, and Mirage shot when facing right, emphasizing attribute switching in combat. Silhouette shots are effective against Mirage enemies, dealing physical damage, while Mirage shots target silhouetted enemies, causing spirit or mental damage. We're introduced to Parasite 7, described as reliable companions that aid Shayna. These are creatures that were originally parasitic in the old world but are now helpful, supporting Shayna by replenishing her spirit gauge. We get to see a few of them, like Slothser, a laid-back parasite with straight shooting attacks, and Gluttony, an always-hungry parasite with straight laser shots. Pridey, a cool older brother type parasite with boomerang shots, and Envy, a cheerful older sister type with fire attacks. The page also showcases the appearance of a new enemy, the Altar, a bipedal weapon. The text suggests players will quickly face intense attacks from these enemies, urging players to skillfully utilize Kebito to evade them. Silhouette Mirage is a game filled with quirky characters and gameplay gimmicks right from the start. The game showcases a unique environment and enemies, including a fish-slash-mermaid hybrid and various character designs, like the Grim Reaper-esque Ruste, the mole-like Angara, and the duck-like Capitus. A weapon upgrade system, the Big Revolver, allows players to purchase shots. The game emphasizes environmental awareness. An interview with Treasure, the game's developer, highlights their history of innovative action games since 1992. They aim to create fresh and engaging experiences, and are developing titles for various platforms, positioning themselves as trendsetters in the gaming industry. The developer is currently working on 2 titles for the Silmira system, and requests continued support. Silhouette Mirage, a action shooting game, centers around 2 attributes: Silhouette and Mirage. Players must strategically switch between these attributes to damage enemies, as opposing attributes nullify attacks. The gameplay emphasizes tactical combat, requiring players to utilize various actions like shooting, with 7 variations, throwing, sliding, and reflecting. Developed by Treasure, the game's unique approach stems from the team's focus on personal enjoyment rather than mass appeal. They prioritize creating visually appealing elements, particularly highlighting the cuteness of the game's design, including the character Shagina. The developers invested heavily in the opening animation, employing digital techniques to deliver an engaging and exciting experience from the start. Their goal is for players to appreciate both the gameplay and the overall presentation. This review explores Silhouette Mirage, focusing on its gameplay and design. The game, reminiscent of Treasure's work, features detailed animations and multi-jointed characters. Set in modern, realistic environments, the game's scenarios and characters are intentionally designed to feel less human. Gameplay revolves around the Silhouette and Mirage attributes, crucial for strategic combat involving shooting, throwing, and reflecting. The game emphasizes dynamic perspective shifts through 3D rendering, offering a fresh take on horizontal scrolling. Developers prioritized player experience and visual appeal, particularly Shayna's character design. The review highlights specific scenarios, including urban canyon flying, emphasizing stylish aerial movement, and Qubit Group Great Advance, showcasing large-scale battles against diverse enemies. The overall goal is to deliver an engaging and impressive action game experience. Chaos Seed. Feng Shui Chronicles of a Genius Taoist from Neverland Company is a unique RPG for the Saturn. Players assume the role of a villainous dungeon creator, a wicked person, tasked with trapping heroes and managing their labyrinths. The game blends simulation, action, and RPG elements, offering a distinctive experience. The story follows a young Sendao, a Taoist hermit in training, who uses mystical energies to build dungeons, fueled by human desires. The Saturn version expands upon the original SFC release, with enhanced features: CD-ROM utilization for improved sound, voice acting, and cinematic sequences. Expect expanded scenarios, refined gameplay balance, and new help functions. Neverland Company is also hinting at their next RPG, Steam Pirates. The game promises a deep, engaging, and visually interesting experience. This page dives deep into the mechanics of Chaos Seed, Feng Shui Chronicles of a Genius Taoist, explaining how to build and manage your unique dungeon, the Senkutsu, or Sanctuary. It's all about gathering energy to awaken the dragon vein.
The page acts as a guide, breaking down key elements. First, it introduces energy and elixir, explaining the importance of production rooms, which constantly generate energy, and refining rooms that convert materials into elixir. These are your core resources. Next, it covers senju, which are like divine beasts that aid you. Some are combat-focused for dungeon defense, while others boost production. The guide then explains room strengthening, detailing various room types you can build to enhance your dungeon's capabilities. These include rooms for transportation, material extraction, storage, searching for hidden locations, and combat rooms that increase attack power and traps. Finally, the ultimate goal is to pour energy into the Dragon Vein furnace. This furnace seems crucial for revitalizing the land and is the endgame objective. The page also features a diagram explaining the game's original feng shui, showing how elements like metal, water, wood, fire, and earth interact, which likely influences dungeon building and room placement for optimal key flow. It's all about strategically constructing and managing your dungeon to gather energy and awaken the Dragon Vein. This page features an interview with Makoto Takata, the Vice President and Managing Director of Neverland Company. The interview is titled, "It Started From, I Don't Want It to Be Ordinary," and it delves into the development philosophy of Neverland Company and their game creation process. We see screenshots from a Super Famicom version of a game, showcasing typical RPG gameplay elements like character stats, HP, energy, and item inventories. Takata discusses the initial concept of making something unique and not ordinary. He mentions that developing on GDNet was a significant change from their previous environments. He highlights the importance of visuals, sound, and technical aspects in game development, aiming for high quality in their games. The discussion touches upon dungeon design, scenario creation, and even hints at online help features. It seems they were focusing on creating immersive and engaging gameplay experiences. The interview also mentions aiming for a multi-scenario approach and improving graphics significantly compared to their Super Famicom titles. Takata expresses a desire to create games that feel fresh and exciting to players, moving away from predictable or ordinary experiences. He emphasizes the idea of a free-spirited protagonist, unburdened by obligations or duties, reflecting a core design principle for their games. This page continues the interview with Junichi Kashiwagi, director at Neverland Company, discussing their upcoming SEGA Saturn title, Chaos Seed. The page highlights the game's concept of creating your own dungeon and becoming the one being pursued. We can see a screenshot that appears to be from an earlier RPG title, possibly from the Super Famicom era as mentioned before, showcasing typical RPG elements. Next to it is a contrasting screenshot that looks to be from Chaos Seed, showing a 3D character in armor, hinting at a graphical leap for the Saturn. Kashiwagi reiterates the desire to create games that are not ordinary RPGs, pushing the boundaries even within the limitations of the Super Famicom's capabilities, while aiming for a distinct feel. He mentions the game will have a long scenario and vast dungeons, but also a comedic touch. The discussion touches upon game size, mentioning multiple discs, and the ambition to create a game that players can return to and always find something new, ensuring high replayability. Finally, there's a message to SEGA Saturn users about Chaos Seed, and an announcement for a presentation event at the Tokyo Game Show in April, where attendees can receive a special Chaos Seed compilation book as a present. The page ends with Kashiwagi's statement, "I want to create games that always feel fresh no matter how many times you play them." This page is an advertisement for the SEGA Saturn game, Sentimental Graffiti First Window, a collector's disc limited to 30,000 copies. It's packed with digital goodies for fans. The page highlights several features: a digital art museum by Kugetsujin with around 80 image illustrations in high-resolution mode, a digital setting collection with 240 monochrome setting design images for all 12 characters, an audition movie, which is exclusive and includes a documentary movie about the Voice Challenger audition held in January, and a message movie featuring voice messages from all 12 voice actors. The game was set to release on April 11th, Friday, at a suggested retail price of 2,980 yen, and comes with a premium calendar as a special bonus. There's also info about related music grids, including the theme song, Sentimental Love, and the opening song, Cloud's Whereabouts, as well as a radio show called Sentimental Night, airing on TBS Radio Fantasy World, which broadcasts weekly on Tuesdays and Fridays. The bottom of the page provides contact information for NEC Interchannel, the game's publisher, and details about their booth at the Tokyo Game Show 97 Spring event, taking place at Tokyo Big Sight, From April 5th to 6th, they mention a special event guide available at major play guides in the metropolitan area with pre-sale discount ticket information.
Dream Access, a reader submissions page, features a request for house cleaning and a desire for vivid dreams. With a tangential mention of blood donation. Games this week highlights a gamer squeezing in playtime despite a busy schedule and anticipating a humorous, wilderness-scolding postcard. This week's Major Damage details gaming misfortunes, including a bad rental and a humorous account of weight loss through a diet game inspired by SEGA, with a goal of 55 kilograms loss. Osama's A Throne Obstruction ranks game sales, dominated by PlayStation titles. A reader in the My section brags about SEGA Saturn skills and free merchandise. The Osaka section offers Game Center details, including prices for Virtua Fighter 3 and Virtua Striker 3. Lastly, a reader playfully adorns themselves with SEGA Saturn stickers. The SEGA Saturn Users Conference 97 highlights player feedback. A player requests an external input selector to manage multiple controllers like the 3D pad and twin sticks, also desiring a multi-terminal 6. Another fan in Tokyo wants a Rent-A-Hero revival, perhaps a remake or port. An Osaka reader emphasizes the need for original game ideas, advocating for experiences like Parappa the Rapper and Azito, instead of solely sequels. A Tokyo player admires Sega's stylish, high-spec approach, especially in games like Panzer Dragoon Saga, appreciating the "iki" cool factor and the quality of ports like Resident Evil and Cyberbots. The conference also features mini-reviews of Dungeon Master, with players from Akita and Tokyo offering gameplay feedback, noting bugs and suggestions for monster battles. This page delves into the world of Sega Saturn gaming with several interesting sections. The Industry Detective Club answers reader questions, like one asking if anyone owns over 100 Saturn games. Another question clarifies that white ink can be used if it creates a cloudy or effect. They also mention the release of the Power Memory and Gun Gun. The Bachata Yo! All Members Assembles section highlights a character text contest. The game involves creating human figures out of text in a school setting, with a puzzle element where you input commands. In Young Master Now, they discuss the popularity of the character Wakadan, even overseas. It seems there's a Wakadan boom, and they even went to Brazil, specifically Sao Paulo, for a football-related event. The Comic Circa DA section features 4 panel comics. One is about a medical pod in an underground location, another about a test driver and racing, and another seems to be about a samurai or ninja game. The Release Info Corner mentions a racing game called Rocket Start, and a game that sounds like a parody of Tomb Raider called Great Tom Raider. Finally, The Ears of the King talks about the Pepsiman Star Planning Project and mentions Megamix and O Matsuri Soft. They are using DDM security tech, and even refer to a Karl Gotch wrestling game. Apparently, Sega is developing a snowboard game starring him, with 200 characters planned and a flashback system. This week's Best showcases reader-submitted game art. Highlights include art from Tokushima and Aichi prefectures, the latter featuring characters with a Purin feel. Dream Museum reviews, fighting game art, comparing color pages with monochrome Sega pages, and encouraging black and white submissions. Individual submissions include dynamic Demon Team art from Iwat, a powerful monster figure from Okayama, and Mas from Kanagawa, evoking a fighting game atmosphere. Fukushima's stylish character with a drink and Totori's Lee are also featured. The program information section details software gifts, user meetings, and international contributions from Brazil. Submission guidelines include postcard format, black and white art, and clear contact information. Prizes include book coupons and software, with hopes for game show reports. The address for submissions is provided. This page is an advert for Daikon Animation Gakuin, which is a vocational school focused on animation and game development. They're advertising courses in game design, game character moving design, game sound direction, and CG anime game development. They boast a very high employment rate of 98.62% for graduates, highlighting that their courses are very practical and geared towards getting jobs. They mention that they have a free computer aptitude test called Charisma Map to help you find your artistic strengths. The ad talks about free course guides, free trial lessons, and free information sessions, and provides contact details for anyone interested in applying. Sega Press Volume 25 highlights new UFO catcher prizes.
Soccer fans can win J.League joint cushions. Other prizes include a Tama and Friends piano music box, Sonic the Hedgehog metal key holders, and deformed Martian successor Nadesico keychain mascots. There's also a Kyoto-chan LCD game exclusive to UFO catchers. The Flash SEGA Saturn section introduces Demo Disc Volume 15, showcasing games like Flower Arrangement Columns and Command & Conquer. The press also advertises ways to stay updated on Sega news. Sega Fax Club, a weekly updated Sega Joy telephone message, 3 minutes, and the Sega Video Magazine on VHS. Lastly, they promote their online service, Sega Passanet Club. This page is a queue and a section called Sega Press Stadium, where readers can ask anything about Sega. A key topic is the rumor of a Sega Bandai merger. One question asks, if Sega becoming Sega Bandai means Sonic will disappear. The answer assures fans that Sonic won't disappear and will continue to be active, remaining eternally popular. Another question is about playing single creds on the Saturn, and if games can still be made for it, to which Sega confirms single creds are playable, but new Saturn game development is uncertain. There's also talk about a supposed 94-bit Saturn, but Sega says the name might change and isn't finalized yet, but they are considering various names and logos. The Q&A also covers the Fighting Vipers commercials, and the narrator, who is apparently a well-known voice actor involved in educational programs and TV shows. Another reader asks about Sega Bandai press releases appearing in weekly game magazines. In the Sega Newsflash section, magazine staff share their thoughts. Take-chan mentions being busy writing novels and enjoying recent game announcements. Fukazawa from PR is excited about the game industry and talks about company trips. Honey Hanatani expresses spring feelings, mentions the Tokyo Game Show being lively, and looks forward to baseball season and new game releases. This page is packed with announcements for manga anthology comics, all under the Super Game Anthology Comic Series banner. They're kicking things off with a brand new Pocket Monsters 4, DX Deluxe, which is a hilarious 4-panel comic book based on the original Game Boy Pokemon games, drawn by a bunch of different artists. Following that, there's the second volume of the Toshinden 4, DX Deluxe, taking on the world of the PlayStation fighting game Battle Arena Toshinden, with a comical twist. If you're a fan of Battle Arena Toshinden itself, there are 2 more anthologies advertised. First, simply titled Toshinden Anthology Comic, and then Toshinden 2 Anthology Comic for the sequel. Both promise loads of comics and illustrations, including official character designs and art from many artists. For those into something a bit different, there's a Super Real Mahjong PV Anthology, featuring all the lovely ladies from the Real Mahjong series in brand new stories. Finally, for fighting game fans who like things a bit darker, there's a Darkstalkers Revenge anthology, based on Capcom's classic arcade and console fighter, again with a variety of artists contributing comics and illustrations. It looks like SoftBank is aiming to cover all sorts of game genres with these comic anthologies. This page is all about an upcoming event to celebrate the release of the Enemy Zero original soundtrack. It seems Warp's very own Ino Kenji, the man behind Enemy Zero, is making an appearance. First Smile Entertainment, a new label focusing on game music, is releasing the soundtrack composed by Michael Nyman. And to mark the occasion, they are holding a special event on April 19th, where you can meet Ino Kenji himself. There will be talk shows, handshake opportunities, and even autograph sessions with Imino. The event is happening at 2 locations on the same day. First at Yamagiwa Softcon in Akihabara at 2 p.m. and then later at the Shinsaido main store in Ogikubo at 5 p.m. If you're interested in attending, you're encouraged to pre-order the Enemy Zero soundtrack CD, which is scheduled to be released on April 18th and comes with bonus stickers and a digipack case. The magazine even jokes that because Ino hasn't submitted his usual column to them, readers who meet him should ask him to hurry up and deliver it. It sounds like a great opportunity for fans to meet Ino Kenji and get their hands on the Enemy Zero soundtrack. This page showcases the SEGA Saturn Software Databank, a comprehensive list of games available for the console around late 1994 to early 1997. It acts as a buyer's guide, compiled from reader reviews and benchmark scores published in the magazine. The page details games categorized by their release month, starting from November 94 and going up to May 95, although the overall period covered is wider as indicated in the header. The listing provides information for each game, such as the publisher, genre, price, reader review score, benchmark score, and controller compatibility. Looking at the titles, we see a mix of genres, from action and adventure to puzzle, sports, and RPGs. Some notable games mentioned include Virtua Fighter, Myst, Wangan Trial, Tama, Victory Goal, Gotha, Darius Gaiden, Radiant Silvergun, Street Fighter, Real Battle on Film, Shining Wisdom, Daytona USA, Sonic Jam, Panzer Dragoon, and Clockwork Knight. It's clear this is designed to help gamers make informed purchasing decisions based on the opinions of fellow players and the magazine's own benchmarks. The inclusion of controller types like mouse, steering wheel, and multi-tap also helps players understand what peripherals are supported. Overall, it's a snapshot of the Saturn software library at this time, presented as a data-driven resource for consumers. This page continues the SEGA Saturn Software Databank, listing more games available for the console. It's still in the style of a buyer's guide, providing details to help Saturn owners choose their next game. The page lists games released mostly in late '95 and early '96. There's a lot of data presented in tables again, including release dates, game titles, makers, prices, genres, reader review scores, benchmark scores, and controller compatibility. Some interesting titles appearing here include Guardian Heroes, which is noted for its RPG and action elements, Death Mask, and Virtua Cop, which are action titles. We also see puzzle games like PD Ultraman Land. Panzer Dragoon Zwei is listed, and Sonic 3D Blast also makes an appearance. The page continues to be driven by reader reviews and benchmark scores, giving a sense of community opinion alongside more technical assessments. It seems designed to be a comprehensive resource for SEGA Saturn owners at the time, helping them navigate the growing library of games. The next page continues with more SEGA Saturn games in the software databank. It's still packed with game information in table format, covering a wide range of genres. Looking at the games listed, there's a mix of titles, including puzzle games like 3D Lemmings and Tetris Plus. For action fans, Fighting Vipers, Alien Trilogy, and Street Fighter Alpha 2 are featured. RPG enthusiasts might be interested in Dark Savior. There's also Olympic Soccer for sports gamers, and strategy games are represented by Romance of the Three Kingdoms vs. The page also includes some unique titles like Policenauts, the shooting action of Afterburner 2 in the Sega Ages series, and racing with Sega Rally Championship Plus and Destruction Derby. Sakura Wars also makes an appearance, highlighting its blend of genres. It's interesting to see a few titles with adult themes listed here, such as Gal's Panic S and Joshikusei Datsui Mahjong Puku Puku, along with idle-focused discs and Mahjong games, showing the diverse range of software available for the Saturn at this time. The reader review scores and benchmark data continue to give a sense of player opinion for these titles. This page continues, the SEGA Saturn Software Databank, still presented as a detailed table with lots of game info. We're seeing a wide selection of titles spanning various genres. Looking at some of the games, Virtua Fighter 3 is here, along with the crossover Fighters Megamix. There's also Bug 2. And for action fans, Die Hard Trilogy and Deep Fear. We can see titles like Planet Joker and Gameware Volume 4, alongside the popular Sakura Wars 2, Thou Shalt Not Die, which is noted as requiring a RAM cart. Worms also makes an appearance, as well as strategy games like Advanced World War, 1945 Dawn of Steel. Fighting game fans will spot Vampire Savior, The Lord of Vampire. There are also titles like Cyberdoll listed, alongside games continuing from the previous page like Policenauts, and some entries in the Sega Ages series. It seems like the page is still providing a broad overview of the software available, including reader review scores and compatibility information. This page continues with the Data Bank Index, offering a vast collection of Sega Saturn titles. We see a good mix of genres still, with shooting games like Gunbird and Strikers 1945, puzzle games such as Christmas Nights and 3D Lemmings. There's a wide selection of fighting games too, with more entries in the Street Fighter Zero and Vampire Savior series. We also see simulation titles like Sim City 2000 listed. Role-playing games are present with Jewels of Oracle and Zork Eye. Some interesting titles appearing include Deep Fear, Johnny Bazooka Tone, and Space Jam. The list also includes Cyberdoll and Policenauts, which were mentioned on the previous page, and carry over onto this one. It seems to be providing a really comprehensive overview of the Saturn software library, giving players a broad sense of what's available. This page continues the comprehensive data bank index we saw before, packed with even more SEGA Saturn games. It looks like we're still going through a massive list of titles, categorized and numbered for reference. Many of these titles are Japanese releases, but recognizable series like Virtua Fighter reappear with various iterations like Virtua Fighter 2, Virtua Fighter CG Portrait Series, and spin-offs. There's a strong showing of fighting games, action titles, and what looks like a continued mix of genres much like the previous page, from puzzle games to simulations. Though details are brief as it's just a listing, it's essentially a vast catalog showcasing the sheer volume of software available for the SEGA Saturn, giving players a quick reference to the games out there. This guide details a survey for readers to provide feedback on a magazine. It instructs readers on how to fill out an answer postcard with their name, address, birthday, and prize requests, along with general comments. The survey seeks to understand reader demographics and preferences, covering topics like gender, age, occupation, SEGA Saturn ownership, hardware and software, and sources of game information. The survey also gauges opinions on the current issue's articles, referencing tables, listing articles, hardware, and software. These tables contain a variety of content, including game features, columns, and hardware/software lists for readers to use when responding to the survey questions. Examples of games listed within articles include Landmark, Virtua Fighter Kids, and Sonic R. This page showcases the game Monster Slider, a falling block puzzle game with a twist. The tagline emphasizes tilting the floor from right to left to create surprising chains. It's described as a falling block puzzle, where you manipulate blocks by tilting the playfield to the left or right, creating chain reactions. The screenshots demonstrate gameplay and highlight the chain reactions, showing chains from 1 up to 12. The text explains that unlike typical falling block puzzles, where chains are important, Monster Slider is different due to the tilting floor mechanic. This tilt feature adds a new layer of strategy as blocks slide downwards and to the sides based on the floor's angle, letting you create longer chains. The game seems to be set in a monster-themed world, with the main character shown in an anime-style illustration, declaring their intention to help a princess by attacking. Gameplay details are provided on basic attacks, using skull blocks in single-player mode to send blocks to the opponent, and a special killing move, using an S-mark block for a more powerful attack using a cross-shaped formation. There's also mention of bonus and death, where bonus blocks appear, and clearing them alongside same-colored blocks clears the entire screen, though consecutive chains are reduced. The overall impression is of a unique and strategic puzzle game that takes the falling block genre and adds a tilting mechanic for more dynamic and chain-focused gameplay. This page dives into the world of Contra: Legacy of War on the SEGA Saturn, presenting it as an intense action shooter. The page highlights the game's core appeal, controlling hardened commandos, battling fierce, otherworldly enemies that have emerged from the shadows. It teases the player to delve into the secrets of these formidable foes. There's a story summary up to Volume 9, setting the stage with environmental devastation and a global alien invasion. 5 years into the conflict, a group of elite soldiers are tasked with investigating and quelling the alien threat, hinting at a deep conspiracy within the enemy ranks. The page then introduces the main characters. Ray, a veteran soldier proficient with weapons and combat. Tasha, a cool and capable female soldier with enhanced mobility. CD-288, a heavily armed combat robot. And Fuba, a mysterious, seemingly intellectual character capable of communicating with aliens. Gameplay mechanics are also discussed, focusing on utilizing limited support items. It mentions that taking damage is equivalent to a miss, especially on harder difficulties. These support items are crucial for survival, with hints about strategically using bombs and other power-ups scattered around the environment. The reviewer emphasizes mastering jump distances and being aware of the environment to effectively utilize these items, suggesting careful planning and observation are key to success in Contra: Legacy of War. Several screenshots illustrate the intense action and explosions typical of the Contra series, along with gameplay scenarios demonstrating item usage and environmental awareness. Stages 4 and 5 of Contra: Legacy of War are reviewed. Stage 4, Mountain Stronghold, presents a tough challenge, featuring intense enemy attacks, a lengthy map, and requiring strategic cover use and jump control. The stage likely begins with a boss battle. Stage 5, Entering Another Dimension, and then immediately follows Stage 4 and is visually distinct with a top-to-bottom scrolling background. This interdimensional stage features a unique robotic boss. Players are encouraged to attack from above. Difficulty is significantly increased, prompting adjustments and displaying a harsh message upon failure. The review also mentions Contra Spirit series and its potential appeal to American gamers, with its return to original game intensity. This page showcases the upcoming sci-fi adventure game Virus, a collaborative project from Hudson, SEGA, and Avex. The article highlights the game's hybrid visuals, combining animation, 3D CG, and dance music, aiming for a cinematic and immersive experience. It emphasizes the unveiling of the opening movie and character details, with screenshots showcasing the game's environments, described as hard SF, with a techno-organic sound. The article mentions the game's setting in a futuristic 22nd century computer network, where digitized people and bodies exist. A new society emerges, threatened by a murder virus, leading to a story centered on a detective investigating this virus. The game is described as pushing genre boundaries, aiming to create a new type of hybrid adventure by seamlessly blending animation and CG within the same screen. There is a report on a production announcement event held at Velfar on March 13th. Representatives from SEGA, Hudson, and Avex attended, and Favorite Blue was announced as the theme song artist. The game is stated to be 30% complete and targeted for a summer 1997 release. The developers expressed their ambition to create a deeply immersive and genre-defying adventure experience with Virus. This page delves into the creature designs for the sci-fi adventure game Virus, showcasing the work of creator Hiroshi Saito. We get a glimpse at two creature types: Blue Metal, depicted as sleek, blue robotic figures, and Red Claw, which appears to be more monstrous and organic in design. These creatures are described as having both organic softness and mechanical hardness, rendered realistically in CG. The page also highlights Fantastic Creature World and Creature Core, described as a collection of 2D and 3D designs by Hiroshi Saito. It emphasizes his monster design as a key aspect of the game. An interview with developers, including Hiroshi Saito and Akimoto Tetsuya from Hudson, discusses the concept of Virus. They mention the game's hybrid visuals and aim to create a stress-free yet engaging player experience with diverse gameplay elements like action and puzzle solving. They also touch on the mature themes of the game, aiming to appeal to adults with its story and deeper world setting. Finally, there's an announcement for a Cyberwave Midnight Virus radio program starting April 10th. This program, hosted by personality Rico, will be broadcast on various radio stations and seems to be promotional content linked to the game Virus, featuring talks and drama related to the game's sci-fi world. This page is all about the upcoming RPG Samurai Spirits Bushido Ritsudense, also known internationally as Samurai Showdown RPG. The page is excited to introduce the game's 7 attributes system, which they say will really deepen the battle strategies. Apparently, characters in the game are assigned one of 7 attributes: fire, cold, wind, thunder, holy, evil, and none. These attributes play a significant role in combat, especially when opposing attributes clash, leading to increased damage. The page gives examples like fire versus wind, where wind attribute attacks will deal extra damage to fire attribute opponents. It emphasizes that understanding and utilizing these attributes is key to victory. Character profiles highlight some of the main cast and their assigned attributes. Haomaru is wind, Nakoru is holy, Galford is thunder, Genjuro Kibagami is evil, Charlotte is none, Senryo Kyoshiro is fire, Chum-Chum is none, and Rimururu is cold. There's also a chart showing the attribute relationships, illustrating which attributes are strong against others. Interestingly, it mentions that attributes can be changed using items or commands in the game, adding another layer of customization and strategy. The reviewer seems quite enthusiastic about this being Spank's first RPG, and highlights the voice acting by popular voice actress Kotono Mitsuishi. The game is set to be released on June 27th, and priced at 5,800 yen. This section introduces the storylines of Galford and Cham Cham in the Samurai Showdown RPG. Galford, a ninja of the Sunrise Spirit style and the student of Hanzo Hattori, sets out to pursue his rival, Earthquake, a bandit leader, after Earthquake steals a body and possibly kidnaps Hanzo's son. The narrative shows Galford's relationship with other characters through a diagram. Cham Cham, a cheerful girl, begins her journey to retrieve the Parenqua Stone, a sacred treasure stolen by Amakusa from her village in South Green Hell. Her adventure is linked to the Heavenly Punishment chapter and Demon Flower Mourning chapter, which are connected to the control of nature. She is accompanied by her monkey, Paku Paku, as she travels to Japan in pursuit of Amakusa and the missing stone. This page introduces Real Sound Kai's No Regret, a new audio game being developed by Warp for the SEGA Saturn. The article features an interview where the creator, likely Isino, explains the concept of the game as a monitorless experience where players rely solely on sound and their imagination. He emphasizes the audio quality using the Saturn's CD capabilities and believes that playing with sound only can be very engaging. He mentions that the game's charm lies in stimulating players' imaginations rather than relying on visuals, referencing elements like "that girl" and "under that tree" to illustrate how sound cues evoke feelings and scenarios. The page also highlights that Real Sound is designed to be accessible to visually impaired players, featuring Braille. Game details indicate it is an adventure game scheduled for release in the summer, playable by one person. The maker's comment expresses gratitude to fans for their patience and excitement for the game, promising to meet expectations. The page includes a picture of a person, presumably related to the game's development or the interview. This page continues the discussion about the upcoming Real Sound game, titled Kaze no Regret. It seems the creator, Mr. No, is further elaborating on the game's concept, which as we know is all about sound and imagination, ditching visuals completely. The article highlights that they're using the Saturn's sound capabilities to the max. They're still emphasizing the idea of playing purely with sound, aiming to stimulate the player's imagination rather than relying on what you see. Interestingly, the page features a picture of Mr. Eno himself, looking quite serious and maybe a little defiant, while drinking a carton of coffee. It's all quite atmospheric. The page ends with a "wait for the next issue" message, so it looks like there's more to come about Real Sound K's No Regret in the next magazine. This preview focuses on the SEGA Saturn version of Metal Slug, slated for release on April 4th at 5,800 yen, or 7,800 yen with a RAM card. The review emphasizes the game's exciting and humorous nature, praising its explosive action, comical animations, and the freedom to play spontaneously rather than strictly adhering to pre-planned strategies. The preview highlights several special features: an art gallery with concept art and illustrations, detailed mechanics and characters sections with design notes, and Combat School offering training modes like Pinpoint Attack and Survival Attack for both single and two-player experiences. These modes utilize arcade maps and feature a Sophia instructor, guiding players to improve their skills. This page continues the Metal Slug preview, diving into two specific missions. Mission 1, Absolute Dense Forest Zone, kicks off with a cool parachute drop into a dense jungle setting. It seems you'll be getting to grips with controlling the Metal Slug tank early on and blowing up everything in sight within the destructible environments. The boss for this mission is the Takatsu 770 type explosive artillery fortress Tetsuyuki, which looks like a massive war machine wreck. Mission 2 is titled Burning in the Morning Sun and is set in Ronbelt-Brugge City. This mission is about destroying enemy weapon factories and seems tougher than the first. It mentions river, highlands, and final base areas as connected stages in a long map. The boss here is the large, separated from land, explosive artillery machine Heavy Buster Ribbits, which appears to be a huge, land-based aircraft or artillery piece. The page emphasizes the explosive action and fast-paced gameplay that Metal Slug is known for. This page continues the Metal Slug preview, now looking at Missions 3 and 4. Mission 3, called Hell's Iron Cavalry, plunges players into a snowy mountain stage known as Keith Hilt Valley. It sounds like you'll be ascending the mountain, dealing with snowy landscapes, and even using giant snowballs as weapons against enemies. They mention a tough Oni Army Corps appearing in the fortified border patrol, promising some challenging encounters. The boss for this mission is the SDV-001 Super Dreadnought Self-Propelled Gun Valley King, a massive tank. Mission 4, Valley of Death, is described as a direct continuation from Mission 3, set in mountainous terrain. This area, Defense Line 256, is apparently notorious for its difficulty and is dubbed the Valley of Death. It highlights intense infantry combat and the need to use metal slug vehicles to survive. The enemies here are described as relentless, especially airborne types who attack with knives. The boss for Mission 4 is a cooperative operation tank duo called Shu and Karn, suggesting a double tank boss fight. The page emphasizes the intense action with tanks and artillery throughout these missions.
This page continues the Metal Slug preview, diving into Mission 5, called Oppression City, which is described as a city being destroyed by conflict and filled with collapsing soldier corpses. It seems like the city stage will be packed with enemies, particularly launcher infantry, encouraging players to use grenades and look out for hidden items and backgrounds that can be destroyed. The latter half of the mission is described as being extremely challenging, with enemies attacking from all directions. The boss of Mission 5 is highlighted as the Iron no Kana, a multi-turreted artillery tank. The text emphasizes its powerful firepower and suggests players need to be careful when facing it. Moving on to the last mission, titled Sea of Memories, which is described as the final battleground and the sea fortress base of the rebel army. It's set in a seaside area, likely continuing the pursuit of Morden from Mission 2. The text hints at a sense of finality and determination to defeat Morden. It also mentions riding in a submersible transport to reach Moody Island, the stage's location. There's also a section about encountering Morden again at a midpoint. The screenshots show what looks like a stage with a bridge and train tracks, where Morden will reappear. It warns players not to let their guard down against Morden. Another section, titled To the Raging Sea of Men, depicts a naval battle scene, showing boats and explosions in a watery environment, suggesting a chaotic and intense stage section. This page delves into Dragon Silk Master, specifically Area 3, known as the Beauty Palace. It highlights an unexpected side of the main character, aka, and introduces some strange enemies found in this area. We get a glimpse of AKA's thoughts, suggesting she has a girly side, even though she is a warrior. The page features character portraits and in-game screenshots showcasing the gameplay, including dialogue snippets. There's a section dedicated to Silk World Basic Knowledge, which explains that enemy strength varies by location even within the same area. It also mentions a danger level gauge in the game's map, which helps players assess enemy strength and avoid dangerous areas. Red indicates high danger. A one-point advice section focuses on slip zones, highlighting tile types that cause characters to slip when walking normally. This area requires careful movement, as it restricts movement to 1 or 2 squares at a time, suggesting strategic item usage might be necessary to overcome these zones. The page also notes a 100% completeness indicator and includes game details such as it being a role-playing game released on March 28th for 6,800 yen. As a special bonus, the initial release includes one of 15 character seals with a chance to win a telecard through a lottery. This issue seems to be focusing on Battlemania aka, as indicated in the header. This page continues the Dragon Silk Master exploration, focusing on a challenge from Kazan. It seems Kazan forces AKA to wear a dress, creating an awkward and funny situation for the warrior protagonist. The page details this scenario, from Kazan's initial challenge and demand that AKA wear a dress as a condition of battle, through to the eventual confrontation. The magazine highlights that the labyrinth in Area 3, the Beauty Palace, is becoming increasingly complex, featuring multi-layered floors. They advise players to use the auto-mapping feature and explore thoroughly. There's also a one-point advice section focusing on tricky floors where you can easily slip, recommending strategic item use to navigate these areas. The page then shifts to the battle against Kazan. It's suggested to be a 4-on-1 fight, emphasizing the challenging nature of Kazan and the need for strategic combat. The uncomfortable aka butt section reveals AKA's internal thoughts about the dress and the situation, highlighting her girly side despite her warrior persona and the slightly embarrassing situation. Finally, the journey is always section teases the upcoming areas and challenges in Dragon Silk Master, mentioning new enemies and further adventures.
This page shines a spotlight on Shin Kaitei Gunkan, which translates to New Undersea Battleship, a turn-based simulation game that was just about to be released. Set in the year 20XX, the game depicts a war between humans and Atlanteans. You play as a pilot in the Atlantean forces whose mission is to defend Earth from the surface-dwelling humans by commanding powerful weapons across 18 maps. A standout feature of the game is its three-layered battle map, incorporating air, land, which is above water, and underwater levels. This allows for deep strategic gameplay, letting you position up to 3 units in a single hex and plan diverse tactics across these layers. The page also introduces characters like Annette and Aptawar. The overall impression is positive, with the magazine expressing excitement for the game's release on April 4th and referencing previous coverage and interviews that have built anticipation for this title.
This page continues to introduce New Undersea Battleship. It highlights the strategic depth with its 3-layered battlefield, where you can position units in air, land, and sea layers. The page details different unit types, showcasing named units like Ra-Gao, which is for land and sea combat, Shuryu, a small submarine for underwater operations, Gauten, a multi-purpose battlecruiser, Raijin, a multi-legged weapon, Bofu, a storm fighter, and Suiryu, a water dragon fighter. These units are upgradable and customizable, allowing for strategic resource management. The page also features an interview with voice actor Tomokazu Seki, who voices a character in the game. He talks about his approach to voice acting and his role as a righteous hero in the game. Seki mentions that while his character is a hero, he's also a normal human with weaknesses, making him relatable. He discusses the challenges of voice acting and aiming for a natural performance, preferring not to overthink the role. The profile section further details Seki Tomokazu's work in popular anime, like Mobile Fighter G Gundam and Neon Genesis Evangelion. Finally, there is a little giveaway section for signed prints by Seki Tomokazu. Tokimeki Memorial Drama Series Volume 1, Rainbow-Colored Youth, is an upcoming adventure game for all ages, 70% complete with a summer release target. This first installment focuses on the school life of Kusayuki and the player character, a high school student who manages the soccer club. The game unfolds over 3 years, with the goal of achieving beautiful moments with Sayuki and reaching the national soccer tournament. Players' choices impact the story and lead to different endings. A key story element involves the protagonist's initial exclusion from the regular team. Encouraged by Ku, he trains diligently for a practice match, his last chance to prove himself. The review suggests fans of the series will be pleased and hints at further game information at the Tokyo Game Show at Konami's booth. This page talks more about Tokimeki Memorial Drama Series Volume 1, Rainbow-Colored Youth. It highlights that in Rainbow-Colored Youth, in addition to Nozaki, other characters from Tokimeki Memorial will also appear. It mentions characters like Shiori Fujisaki, Tsukushi Makihara, and Yumi Saotome, appearing as classmates and friends. They are also introducing new characters, such as Reina Kaguya and Ayako Hikawa. It's still unclear when and in what scenes these characters will appear, but fans can look forward to seeing familiar faces. The page also details the game system, which is described as Police Note plus Tokimeki. It's an adventure game system where you move a cursor to interact with people and objects on screen. Menus appear for actions and conversations. The responses from characters vary, and in Tokimeki situations, you'll have 3 options to choose from. Finally, they are introducing a new character named Akisato Minori for Autumn Remembrance. She is a freshman in high school and the manager of the soccer club. She is described as cheerful and energetic, a modern girl type, but can be a bit clumsy at times. Her voice actress is Sakura Tange. There is a profile section for Akisato Minori, listing her height at 152 centimeters. Bust waist hip measurements as B78, W56, H80, birthday April 16th, blood type O, and hobbies as window shopping and knitting. This page dives into Cyberbots, Full Metal Madness, revealing the secrets to mastering the game's powerful boss variable armor units, or VASs. It declares, "Everything is after clearing it," suggesting that unlocking the full potential of the game requires completion. The page focuses on 3 boss VAS, Super 8, Geats, and Helion, explaining how to use them. Apparently, these boss VAS become playable in the home version, which is a step up from the arcade. The article details the unlock conditions for each boss VA. To unlock Geatswitz, you need to clear the Kiyomaru scenario,
Helion is unlocked by clearing the Shade scenario, and Super 8 becomes available after beating the Debirado scenario. These boss VAs can then be used as common VAs after meeting these conditions. There's also a CPU battle strategy guide, stating that playing through arcade mode is the best way to understand the story and see the endings. It gives level 4 difficulty strategies, mentioning that the CPU tends to wait and fire, using dash attacks from the screen edge. The advice is to close in and keep attacking. For boss VA fights, they suggest continuous practice is key. The page also mentions the order in which VAs appear is important to remember during gameplay. The example given is Jin using Lightning Garuda, then transitioning through Raptos, Tarantula, Killerworth, and finally the boss. This section of the Cyberbots Guide provides combat strategies for the unlockable boss variable armors, Brodia, Broadsman, and B-Riot. For Brodia, it emphasizes jumping attacks and throws to start combos, along with weapon use to break defenses, and specific strategies against Warlock and Half-Cyborg. Broadsman's tactics center on the powerful dash, A1 attacks, the electric net for trapping opponents, and guard counters. Against Half-Cyborg, it advises a waiting game. B.Riot's guide focuses on the RT Strike combo and Dynablow finisher. It suggests using aerial Vulcan attacks, and provides advice on fighting Super 8s, including guarding special moves, using shining arms, and throwing. The page offers detailed combat tips and move recommendations for each VA. This guide focuses on the Reptos variable armor from Cyberbots, detailing combat strategies. Reptos is a basic type with a strong violence wind move. Tactics include prioritizing thrusting attacks with guard cancels, maintaining distance with buckle laser and follow-up lasers, and executing continuous combos like jump A2, rolling gear A2. When struggling, the guide advises waiting and using dash attacks or guard breaks. Aim for standing A2 encourages using it from mid-range. Must-kill technique combination highlights the effectiveness of rolling gear A1 versus battle strategies are included. Against Super 8, the guide recommends an immediate dash in and violence wind due to aerial bombs. Against Helion, waiting tactics and keeping your back to the screen are key. For both opponents, use dash A1 to cancel into special moves when opponents are cornered. Utilizing the laser screen move to trigger Cyber X against Helion, if you have enough gauge, is also a good tactic. This page delves into strategies for the variable armor for Conti, seemingly from the game's Cyberbots, continuing from the previous page's context. Forseti is described as not ideal for CPU battles and best played aggressively. A key starting move is the dash A1. The Tornado 2 move is highlighted as a solid attack, effective from a distance, with aerial VA and A2 being good follow-ups to cut through defenses. For normal attacks, a jump A2 followed by repeated crouching A2 is recommended, while guarding in the air against aerial attacks is advised. For weapon-based play, when opponents keep their distance, crouching row is suggested. If close, waiting for dash attacks and then countering after guarding is the tactic. Missiles are useful at mid-range, and if the CPU guards, a dash throw is the recommended follow-up. The Killer Sword is emphasized as a powerful assassination tool, capable of breaking defenses in just 2 hits. Basic attack strategy involves advancing and attacking, and against dash attacks, guarding then counter-attacking is key. Finally, the Air Killer Screw Throw, while not guaranteed, is suggested for use when landing directly in front of the opponent. This page provides practical combat tips for playing as for Scrody in various in-game scenarios. This guide details strategies for 3 variable armor types: GPN-1, CPV-4, and GPD-2, variations of the Gul'dan machine in a mech fighting game. GPN-1 focuses on offense. Key tactics include the burner attack for immediate aggression, the Gal Wheel attack for pressure, and aerial attacks, VA A2, Jump A2, to control space and set up throws. CPV-4 prioritizes counterattacks. The strategy revolves around guarding and punishing opponent attacks. Effective moves include Capture A2 for jump-ins, Dash A1 to cancel E pressure into throws, and Jumping A2 for direct hits from a distance. GPD-2 emphasizes raw power. The This Is Enough strategy leverages the mid-air Ikari kick, A2. Other tactics include the drill restraint using drill cannon A1 and A2, Hyper DD shave for long-range damage through button mashing, and Cyber X aim for powerful gauge-dependent attacks. This page is all about the release of the SEGA Saturn game Sangokushi Kumaiden, or Romance of the Three Kingdoms Kongming's biography. It's highlighted as a hit PC game, now coming to Saturn as a simulation RPG. The page emphasizes that the game depicts the turbulent life of the famous strategist Zhuge Liang, or Kong Ming, and puts you in the shoes of this iconic figure during a time of great heroes in Chinese history. The article talks about the game world, mentioning maps and cities, and how the story unfolds around Zhuge Liang and his wife. It emphasizes his role as a pillar of the kingdom of Shu, highlighting his strategic brilliance and the many plans you'll formulate and execute in the game. A key gameplay element pointed out is the importance of how you treat captured enemy officers, suggesting your choices and actions have significant consequences within the game's strategic layer. The game is marked as 100% complete and was released on March 28 for 7,800 yen. It's described as a simulation RPG for one player, where your decisions shape the destiny of Kongming himself, exploring different paths his life could have taken. This page delves into the world of Uncharted Waters 2, New Horizons, a classic seafaring adventure game. It highlights the importance of ports as starting points for all voyages. The page introduces several key ports: Lisbon, Seville, Genoa, London, Amsterdam, and Istanbul, detailing their locations, special products, what you can buy, and starting items. For example, Lisbon is known for rock salt, Seville for ceramics, Genoa for silver, London for wool, Amsterdam for glass beads, and Istanbul for textiles. Each port's description also gives a bit of local flavor, mentioning national characteristics and notable personalities within the game world. Beyond ports, the page outlines various facilities you'll find in port cities and their functions. These include the Royal Palace or Governor General's office for audiences and requests, the port itself for entry and exit, the shipyard for repairs and upgrades, and the inn for rest and information. The exchange handles trade, the item shop sells equipment, the tavern offers drinks and rumors, the bank manages finances, and the guild provides quests and contacts. You also have the church or temple, the collector for valuable finds, the cartographer to chart maps, and the fortune teller for insights. Each facility is briefly explained in terms of what services it provides and during which hours it's available in the game, offering a helpful guide to navigating the game's ports. The next page shines a spotlight on Game Japan History, Revolutionary Child Oda Nobunaga, which is a history simulation game. It's described as edutainment software, aiming to make learning Japanese history fun and accessible through gameplay, specifically focusing on the life of the famous warlord Oda Nobunaga. The game promises to let you experience Nobunaga's life, from his childhood ambitions to his strategies for unifying the country. It emphasizes that the simulation part is designed to be straightforward and easy, even for those new to simulation games. There's also a strong focus on the comprehensive data available within the game, making it a valuable tool for learning about the Sengoku period. The screenshots show character portraits, in-game battle scenes, dialogue interactions, and even a data search function interface. There's a comment from the game makers suggesting that even people who find history difficult or boring will enjoy this game, encouraging future historians to try it out. It mentions it's a multimedia history simulation software, expected to be released on April 4th for 6,800 yen, supporting one player. In no Falena Fantasy Stories to the Time is an RPG, focusing on character upbringing. The game's core mechanic involves choosing your character's parents, which dictates their starting job and opening storyline. Players begin with an abandoned baby at a church. Selecting a parent affects the starting job from 4 classes: merchant, thief, magician, magic user, knight, or priest. Parental options include the merchant Marsh, the eccentric Gregory, the old man, the reclusive swordsman Magaya, and the devout Maria. Each parent provides a distinct background and starting scenario. The game promises an accessible system where parenting choices are simplified, with the character's name and Snow's Holy Knight determined at the outset, highlighting the impact of upbringing on the character's path. This SEGA Saturn magazine page highlights Quaichin no Falena Fantasy Stories to the Time, focusing on its character development system tied to age and upbringing. The game features 4 starting classes: Knight, Thief, Magic User, and Priest, with distinct events at ages 5, 10, and 15, shaped by parental choices. Knights experience their first battle and a mysterious duel at 5, training with Knight Olga at 10, and begin their adventure at 15. Thieves find a jewel at 5, assist their thief parent at 10, and get thief tools at 15. Magic users begin studying magic at 5, learn with Gregory at 10, and face intense training at 15. Priests meet Sister Maria at 5, assist in church duties at 10, and confront an evil priest at 15. A shared dungeon event occurs at age 10 for all classes. The game emphasizes a dynamic, branching storyline driven by class and upbringing. This page is a fun comic strip showing a family discovering the unexpected use of the SEGA Saturn as a word processor. The dad is initially surprised his daughter is just playing around, but then discovers a SEGA Saturn magazine and gets an idea. He excitedly realizes you can use the Saturn with a keyboard and printer for word processing. The daughter is shown creating name cards, and both are impressed with how easy it is to use the Saturn for tasks like writing letters and making these cards. The strip highlights the SEGA Saturn word processor keyboard set, which includes the keyboard, printer interface, special name card printing paper, and software. The text at the bottom promotes the set as a way to easily create original name cards and documents, even for those without a dedicated word processor or PC. It emphasizes that using special print paper allows for unique name cards and designs with illustrations. The set is described as expanding the Saturn's capabilities beyond just gaming, positioning it as a multimedia machine for home use and word processing. The price of the SEGA Saturn word processor keyboard set is listed at 34,800 yen, and it includes the keyboard, printer interface, special name card printing paper, and software. In an interview titled, "Continuing Voice, Calling Man Oshima Jiro," SEGA Managing Director declares, SEGA Director Mr. Oshima discusses the end of resale price maintenance and its impact on the game industry, drawing parallels to the music CD market. SEGA anticipated these changes and implemented low-price sales strategies, highlighted by the success of their velocity strategy. The interview touches on the evolving market landscape, including collaborations, the Nintendo 64's price drop, and the rise of PlayStation and Final Fantasy Version 2. Mr. Oshima emphasizes adapting to user needs and expectations, media formats, CD, CD-ROM, and copyright protection. He expresses concern about potential negative effects from abolishing resale price maintenance for game software, but prioritizes user benefits, believing SEGA is well positioned to succeed by focusing on adaptability. This page showcases a SEGA Saturn Soft Complete Guide and introduces 5 games for players to enjoy after their release. The page is visually dominated by a dynamic image of 2 futuristic motorcycles racing, hinting at one of the featured titles. The guide highlights 5 games with page number references for more details. These include Manx TT Superbike, Advanced World War, Rise of the Kasai, also known as the Rise of the Phoenix, Assault Suits Vulcan 2, also known as Cybernator 2 in some regions, and Professional Baseball Greatest 997. And lastly, Sakura Wars Columns 2. This guide appears to be a section dedicated to providing in-depth looks at games available after their launch, offering Saturn owners insights into titles they can further explore and enjoy. This guide provides strategies for the mirrored Laxi Coast Rhyme course in SEGA Saturn's Manx TT Superbike, aiming for a 59-second lap time. The track is divided into 4 sections, each with specific techniques. The first corner uses an Invita slide. Section 2 prioritizes maintaining speed on an uphill. Section 3 involves a high-speed left requiring hang-on, sliding, even at full throttle, to avoid wall contact. The crucial 4th section stresses avoiding wall contact, especially on the final lap, to secure victory. Screenshots and a course map aid in visualizing the racing line and techniques. While the course itself isn't overly difficult, winning requires skillful navigation, particularly in the final lap, and managing potential wall collisions. This guide details racing strategies for the T.T course, RM, in Manx TT Superbike. The course is broken into 4 key sections. Section 1 emphasizes smooth navigation of the final right turn of the chicane, using slide driving to maintain speed. Section 2 focuses on entering the technical area from the inside, utilizing slide driving if needed, and adjusting for the jump. Section 3 stresses the importance of entry angle for the jump to avoid time loss and instability. Section 4 highlights the use of light slide driving after the jump to smoothly navigate the banked left corner and subsequent turns. The goal is to complete the course with full throttle and effective slide driving, aiming for a lap time of 1:17. This page continues the racing guide for the T.T Course RM in Manx TT Superbike, giving you tips for different sections of the track. Section 5 talks about the chicane and advises to go straight through it as much as possible, sticking to the inside line on corners and being cautious on the first corner. Section 6 highlights being careful at jump locations and suggests using slide driving to clear jumps smoothly and land stably. Section 7 recommends grip driving for high-speed corners that follow jumps, saying it's safer than sliding to avoid big mistakes. Section 8 explains when to use slide driving, particularly in scurves, emphasizing controlled sliding from the initial left turn. Finally, Section 9 is all about the straights go full throttle, but watch out for hazards and other racers. The bottom of the page reveals a fun secret technique, a command to ride a sheep during bike selection. If you input up, up, down, down, left, right, Z, and Y, you'll ride a sheep instead of a bike. It even makes a baa sound. This works in both arcade and Saturn modes, and even during mission select. Advanced World War. The Decline of the Thousand-Year Reich is a SEGA Saturn war simulation game where players command the German forces in World War II. Released a week prior, the game has already captivated players with its challenging gameplay and multiple endings, including an alliance with the Allies. Developed by the new SEGA team, Team Pineapple, this is their debut title. The game features two showcase scenarios. Scenario 48, set in 1943 on the Eastern Front, places players against overwhelming Soviet forces and requires strategic maneuvering to avoid encirclement. Scenario 49 focuses on defending the Dnieper River against Soviet attacks. Both scenarios are rooted in historical events, reflecting key battles that marked the decline of the Third Reich and drawing on historical military units like the Panzer D-type, Hetzer, and Brummbär tanks. This page focuses on the SEGA Saturn game Advanced World War, the Decline of the Thousand-Year Reich, continuing from the previous page. It highlights two specific scenarios. Number 50, Overture to the End, where Soviet forces have reached the German border and are proving unstoppable, and Scenario 51, Operation Spring Awakening, which deals with Hitler's planned counterattack against the Soviets in Hungary, suggesting the German forces are still powerful, but face a strong enemy. The page also includes a Balkan route chart, showing the progression of scenarios from 31 through to 51, visually outlining the game's campaign structure. Further down the page is an interview segment titled 200 Maps selected from 64 maps, featuring Hiroshi Narabi, the developer. He discusses the game's extensive map selection process, revealing they initially had over 200 maps, but narrowed it down to 64 for the final game. He talks about incorporating different battle types, including sea and air combat, and balancing gameplay while aiming for historical accuracy. He mentions the game uses a significant amount of memory for the maps, and that they included Italian units because they are a good nation in the wars, presumably Warsaw Pact/Western Allies, conflict setting. The developer also touches upon the importance of air power in the game, and expresses hope that players will enjoy the game and its historical themes. This page reveals hidden mecha in Assault Suit Lenos 2, focusing on the Zyrek and Phantoma. The Zyrek, acquired by achieving rank S or higher after Mission 2, boasts high mobility and punch attacks, equipped with devices and weapons like Mobile X+8, Repair X+5, and Weapon Bay. It's compatible with weapons such as GG and MG501. The Phantoma, unlocked after acquiring the Zyrek and achieving rank C, has high HP and energy but less mobility. It features hit capacity, EPAC, Weapon X+8, and Armor LV-X+5. Compatible weapons include MG800 and PRST. Supplemental notes, detail armor types, acquisition conditions, and special equipment like the Gunnet, enhancing performance, and the Alpha system, improving movement. A Valken shield is also mentioned for defense. Finally, Lenos News promotes a large Lenos model through a lottery, highlighting its size. This document details 4 powerful mecha from Assault Suit Lenos 2 and how to unlock them. The AS-117, a Vulcan, with balanced stats and shield capabilities, is obtained by winning the Stage 3 tournament, or under special conditions. The ASX-099 Alpha Lenos, excelling in hit points and energy, unlocks by achieving rank A's in missions before Stage 5 and meeting specific stage requirements. The VRS-19C Gulliver, a well-balanced machine, becomes available after Stage 4 by meeting specific performance criteria. Finally, the VRSOOX Garwin, the ultimate mech with extremely high performance, is unlocked by first acquiring both the Gulliver and Alpha Lanos, and then achieving an A rank on the final mission. Each mech offers unique strengths and customization options. This page dives into Pro Baseball Greatest 997, a title picked by the magazine editors, focusing on getting the best out of your team in the pennant mode. It provides best order lineups for two teams, the Oryx Blue Wave and the Nippon Ham Fighters from the Pacific League. For each player, there's a detailed breakdown of their stats in various categories like batting, running, throwing, and defense, all presented in tables. The page also gives tactical advice for each team, like focusing on power hitting with the Blue Wave and leveraging the Ham Fighters' strong batting lineup with strategic base running. You can even see a screenshot of the game in action, and it's all about getting you ready to dominate the baseball diamond in Greatest 997. This page continues the baseball theme, now giving us the lowdown on more teams and how to dominate with them. In Pro Baseball Greatest 997, we get best batting orders and tactical insights for the Cebu Lions, known for their strong batting lineup and power hitters, the Kintetsu Buffaloes, who are recommended to rely on base running due to fewer power hitters, the Chibalate Marines with a focus on a balanced offense utilizing both power and speed, and finally the Fukuoka Daiei Hawks, who are built around a strong batting order led by players like Akiyama and Kudu. For each team, they break down player stats and offer specific tactics to help you win games, such as focusing on power hitting, strategic base running, or balanced offense depending on the team's strengths. It's all about getting you prepped with the best team strategies for Greatest 997. This page dives into the world of Sakura Wars Columns, a puzzle game spin-off from the popular Sakura Wars series. It's a strategy guide, aiming to help players get better at the versus mode. The article highlights key things to focus on during matches, like quickly reading the game screen to understand your opponent's attack level, your own spirit points, and upcoming gem placements. It emphasizes that winning in columns isn't just about speed, but also about smart tactics and knowing when to attack and defend. They've got a section explaining how to quickly understand the screen info, pointing out things like the opponent's attack level indicator at the top, spirit gauges for both players, and the preview of the next gems coming up. There's also a handy table showing each character's attack and defense stats at different levels, for characters like Sakura, Sumair, Maria, Iris, Kana, and Kuran. These stats are broken down into attack time, gem holding time, and defense time. The guide talks about how field positioning is important, and lower level attacks can sometimes win matches. It suggests learning each character's attack power and effectively using special gems. They also mention using time gems as a counterattack method, suggesting that mastering spirit point management and understanding when to use these time gems is crucial for becoming an expert player. This page continues the Sakura Wars Columns strategy guide, this time focusing on the puzzle mode and giving you tips for conquering the first 10 stages. It's like a puzzle school, breaking down each stage's objective and giving you a hint to succeed. For example, Stage 1 is all about speed. Clear 20 gems within a minute, and color doesn't matter, just clear fast. Stage 2 also wants 20 gems in a minute, but adds the challenge of needing 4 simultaneous clears. By Stage 3, you have 2 minutes to clear 20 gems and need to watch out for red gems. Later stages introduce concepts like consecutive clears, clearing gems below a line, and focusing on specific gem colors like peach or yellow. Stage 8 bumps it up to 40 gems in a minute, while Stage 10 is about clearing all the gems on screen. Below the puzzle guide, there's an ad for a Sakura Wars strategy video, priced at 3,800 yen. It boasts interviews with Hiroi Uji and promises to be packed with Sakura Wars gameplay tips and strategy. It seems like a must-have video for Sakura Wars fans wanting to master the game. SNK World 97 in Tokyo was a hit. The event, part of the SNK Live Tour, highlighted Bushido Retsuden and featured playable demos of Samurai Showdown and Hyper Neo Geo 64 games. Fans enjoyed various zones, including challenge and camera areas, plus a shop. Prizes like posters were available. The event included a photo gallery of cosplayers and a quirky section about Neo Geo Furikake flavors. There were also features like Now's Ko with Mai Shiranui and fan questions about King of Fighters 97. A character birthday calendar for April was also provided, along with a call for fan feedback. The event hinted at future events at the Tokyo Game Show. This page is all about Mai Shiranui from King of Fighters 96. It's a character strategy guide. The guide points out that Mai excels at zoning and air combat. It emphasizes using her jumping attacks and special moves like Kachausen, Flower Butterfly Fan, and Ryuenbu, Dragon Flame Dance, effectively to control space. It mentions her Hisatsu Shinobibachi, Certain Kilby Sting, and Chao Hisatsu Shinobibachi, Super Certain Kilby Sting, super moves as well. The page shows basic attack patterns with images and move names, and then it gets into two-hit combos, explaining how to defend against them and counter. There's a section on special move cancels into super moves, which is a bit more advanced. Then there's a know-how corner, offering more strategic tips. There's also an Ask Me Anything section with flowcharts to help you decide what move to use in different situations, like when the opponent is approaching or jumping. They highlight a useful combo involving a jump kick into standing strong punch and then canceling into a super move. Finally, there's a spec table showing Mei's stats rating her power, reach, speed, combo ability, jump, and defense. And there's a table about canceling moves, showing which punches and kicks can be canceled in different stances. Overall, it's a solid guide for players wanting to get better with Mei in KOF 96. Love Game Practical Edition applies dating sim strategies to real life. It encourages a proactive approach, comparing it to a game where rejection is a possibility. The article breaks down dating into 2 steps. Nearby Park, focusing on gathering information about interests through conversation, and shopping, emphasizing being helpful and providing compliments. An interview with model Ayaka Yoshida provides insights. She enjoys anime and movies, particularly movie theaters. She appreciates communication, both talkative and quiet types, if they reciprocate appropriately. She prefers organic development over direct requests for her number. While comfortable shopping with guy friends, she prefers to buy her own items. She responds modestly to compliments. Finally, she acknowledges the challenges of initiating dates, even between girls. This page offers diverse content, starting with dating advice focused on a riverside walk, cautioning against over-reliance on ambiance, and highlighting the importance of genuine conversation. A dialogue between Namo and Ayaka discusses the gap between ideal dating scenarios and real-life experiences. The article, Reality is a Different Game Than Games? Contrasts dating simulation games with the complexities of actual relationships, noting the disconnect between idealized game mechanics and real human emotions. Additionally, Issue 4 of a publication will feature the Boys and Girls collection, showcasing photos of high school girls and male college students. AGW cheat code information section reveals a cheat code for Pebble Beach Golf Links 4. Finally, a staff column from Nemo analyzes David Lynch's Lost Highway, drawing parallels between the film's blurring of reality and illusion and the perceived differences between real and fictional worlds. This page is all about the SEGA AM3 team and their game Top Skater, asking if spring is the season for skateboarding. It's part of SEGA AM&D Department Number 3. The page focuses on mastering the basics of Top Skater, describing it as surprisingly deep and enjoyable despite initial impressions. The page explains how to control the skateboard using an illustration and focuses on 4 basic inputs: small jump, big jump, carving, and slide. It mentions that mastering tricks involves combinations of these inputs and timing. It highlights that even beginners can enjoy the game and encourages players to find AM spots to play it. The article boasts over 100 types of tricks and showcases several in screenshots, including FS method, super pop to indie, BS nose slide, back loop to method, Bonathana to hand flip, FS 360 nose grab, FS hook slide, and 1 foot tapes. These screenshots demonstrate various trick names and point scores achievable within the game. The page also shows images of the actual arcade cabinet setup, emphasizing the realistic feel of the board controller. It concludes by saying that mastering the controls is the first step to becoming a top skater. This page dives into Kato Shoujo's LA Casual Travelogue, which details a trip to Los Angeles starting on February 3rd. The traveler, seemingly from AM3, mentions carrying the prayers of AM3 with them. They refer to Top Skater and the band Pennywise, visiting Epitaph Records, Pennywise's label. There's also a mention of Nomo and Sega, and the traveler is pondering about various things while in lab. The page includes several photos from the trip, showing cityscapes, interiors, and encounters. Moving to the AM3 Research Department BIA's Raspro Illustration Corner Volume 20, it focuses on fan art for Last Bronx. Various illustrations are showcased, submitted by fans under names like Page N Fujisaki, Page N Takurero, Page N Ryu no Run, Page N Mukuyuki, and PN Kamifuko, each with comments on their artwork and Last Bronx characters. There's also a section called Today's BIA, where BIA talks about user feedback and mentions the upcoming SEGA Saturn game show in Tokyo from April 4th to 6th. They discuss how the Last Bronx development is progressing, incorporating user feedback into the game, and plans for showcasing Last Bronx at the game show, including playable demos and stage events. BIA expresses gratitude for the numerous illustrations received, and looks forward to continuing to engage with user feedback. This page presents Cyber Troopers Virtual-On Crossover Volume 7, which is all about the history of science fiction robots and their complicated relationship with the present state of Robot SF. It's a roundtable discussion featuring Ishiguke Michio, Ozaki Koichi, and Ari Nobuyuki, exploring how robot concepts have evolved in SF, from classics like Mazinger Z and Gundam to more recent works, and how this evolution has shaped robot games, especially games like Virtual-On. The panel discusses the enduring appeal of robots in media, referencing influential authors such as Clarke and Asimov, and even literary works like Starship Troopers, I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, and Gwyn Saga. They seem to be pondering the current perception of Robot SF, considering the impact of anime like Evangelion and the future direction of robot games. Game guides for Complete Chrono Trigger Guide and Dragon Quest, Crossgate, are also mentioned in passing within the conversation. This page continues the roundtable discussion with Ishino, Ozaki, and Ari, diving into the theme of giant humanoid robots and playfully suggesting they are useless, but I like them. The conversation kicks off by recalling a time when Robot SF was considered unpopular in Japan, with many thinking, Japanese SF is no good because of robots. They discuss how the Gundam model kits, or Gunpla, surprisingly gained traction and popularity, possibly because people focused on building and customizing them, rather than the robots being useful. The discussion touches upon the impact of Evangelion, suggesting it might have shifted perceptions and made robot anime more mainstream. They mention that even if robots are seen as impractical, finding something appealing or okay about them is enough. There's a bit of playful debate about whether Evangelion's success overshadowed Virtual-On, but they agree that both have their own appeal. The page features a picture of a mecha, likely from Virtual-On, reinforcing the game's relevance to their robot discussion. The concluding thought is summed up in the phrase, "Robot lovers are karma," implying a deep, perhaps unavoidable passion for the genre. This article reports the results of a high-score competition for the SEGA Saturn game, Virtua Cop 2, Guardian of Virtua City, held with Saturn Fan Magazine. Winners were announced for each stage. Stage 1, Kodama Naoki, 4,047,300 points. Stage 2 Page N. Jin, 6,209,300 points. Stage 3, Nakajima Yoshitomi, 6,128,000 points. The overall winner was Matsunaga Hiroshi, with a score of 19,925,800 points. The article includes beginner tips for Stage 1, focusing on quick shots and aiming during enemy retreats. Accurate consecutive shots are emphasized for maximizing points. Sumi Masayuki, involved with the Saturn version, comments on the competition, impressed by the players' skill and dedication. He acknowledges the game's intense gameplay and high scores, hoping players continue to strive for improvements. He concludes by noting the game's enjoyable nature for both serious and casual players. This page details the Virtua Cop 2 high-score competition results. PN. Jin of Fukuoka Prefecture dominated Stage 2 medium with 6,209,300 points, praised for precise aiming and justice shot usage. Nakajima Yoshitomi from Osaka Prefecture achieved 6,128,000 points on Stage 3 expert, commended for strategic gameplay. Overall, Matsunaga Hiroshi from Kanagawa Prefecture topped the rankings with 19,925,800 points, recognized for a stable, high-scoring approach. AM2 Research has issued a challenge for players to surpass 20 million points, with original CG artwork as a prize for the first to succeed before the April 28th deadline. The page concludes with an image of Janet Marshall, inviting players to compete for the reward. This page from AM2 Research Information Bureau covers a few topics. First up is Virtua Surf, with an interview from Ame, an AM2 networker. He talks about wanting to create cool vocal best albums, and mentions titles like Daytona USA and Dancing Shadows, and the Lenta Hero vocal collection, asking what people think of them. He is also looking for ideas and considering a best vocal album for Virtua Athlete. Next, it's a release countdown for Virtua Striker 2. The article mentions the staff are working hard, even late at night. It highlights the new uniform designs and the inclusion of 6 comedy frames, which are described as a bit silly, but enjoyable. They also mention thanks to everyone who sent in illustrations and names a bunch of prefectures of the people who contributed. The AM2 Research Gallery section showcases fan artwork submissions. They mention many submissions from female players, asking about the appeal of AM2 staff and the artists' interpretations of characters. There are fan art pieces for Virtua Cop 2 and Virtua Cop 3 featuring characters like Rage and Janet, and various artists from Tokyo, Kanagawa, Kagoshima, Yamanashi, and Saitama are credited for their drawings. They comment on the drawings being very charming and showcasing the artist's individuality. This page from around the Digiano world is a report from Macworld Expo, focusing on the latest trends in digital cameras. It seems digital cameras were a big draw for attendees. The report highlights the CoolShot digital camera from Kyushu Matsushita Electric, emphasizing its compact size and sleek design. It's mentioned that this camera is quite thin at 21 mm and uses a PC card for image storage, which was a common format at the time. The article also touches upon the idea of transferring images using floppy disks, suggesting a workflow for digital photos even without direct computer connection. There's also mention of 3D fax, a technology from Info Imaging Technologies. This sounds like a way to send and receive 3D images via fax, potentially using random dot stereograms. The idea is that you could scan a 3D image, send it via fax, and the recipient could view it in 3D using special software and perhaps glasses. They mention it could be used for things like sending character images for games over fax, which sounds pretty innovative for the time. The report concludes by suggesting that digital photography and related technologies like 3D fax are becoming more accessible and interesting. This page is the SEGA Saturn software review section, covering games reviewed between March 29th and April 4th. There are 3 review groups offering their opinions. First up, the Lady Users Group played new undersea warship, Steel Loneliness, and thought if you like pretty characters, you might enjoy it. They gave it a score of 6 out of 10. Next, the Game Mania Group reviewed the same game, New Undersea Warship. They felt it was alright, but pretty basic as a simulation, and gave it a score of 4. Lastly, the guest game writers gave their thoughts. For New Undersea Warship, they felt it had some good points, but overall was just average, scoring it a 5. However, they were really impressed with Metal Slug, calling it incredibly fun and challenging with amazing graphics. It received very high scores from 2 writers, a 9 and an 8 out of 10. So overall, New Undersea Warship seems to be getting mixed to average reviews, while Metal Slug is definitely the standout title on this page, highly recommended by the guest reviewers. This software review section assesses 3 games. Quo Vadis 2, likely New Undersea Warship, Steel Loneliness, received mixed reviews. Female users appreciated its strategic depth, 7/10. High rollers enjoyed the battles and visuals, 8/10. And guest writers liked the challenging elements, 7/10. Angelique Special 2 was well received. Female users loved its characters and dating sim aspects, 8/10. High rollers found it charming, 7/10. And guest writers praised the diary format and customization, 8/10. Sankyo Fever Jitsuki Simulation S, a pachinko simulator, garnered lower scores, 50. Female users found it realistic, while high rollers and guest writers focused on customization and data analysis, with scores around 5 and 6. This page reviews 3 games released on April 4th. Voice Idol Mania Pool Burst Story blends pool with dating sim elements. While female users and guest writers enjoyed its voice acting,
idle theme, and dating aspects. High rollers were less enthusiastic about its mechanics and dating elements. Actua Golf aims for realism. Female users lauded the detailed settings but criticized visuals. High rollers appreciated the golf experience, but noted narration issues. Guest writers praised its controls and feel, recommending it to golf fans. Finally, Dark Hunter, an English learning adventure game, offers an engaging story and increased scenario volume. Reviewers lauded its user-friendly English learning approach and recommend it for students, especially fans of the juvenile SF novel genre. The page provides total and individual reviewer scores, alongside pricing and technical details for each game. Back Techniques A Go! Go! Is a collection of SEGA Saturn game secrets submitted by readers. In Fantasy Zone, players can access hidden options. Continuing 3 times in 2-player mode gives full lives. Saying no to shop items 3 times lowers prices. Dying 3 times in a shop area and re-entering allows stronger weapons. Virtual Racing reveals secret car colors activated with Z, Y, and C during car selection. It also hints at a special item, Para, awarded to excellent racers. Ultraman, Light Giant Legend, has a hidden mode unlocked by repeatedly crashing into buildings and entering a specific title screen command. For Shinobi X, clearing Shinobi mode and starting a new game is hinted to unlock a special start. The page also features a prize draw for readers who submit their own secrets, with Saturn software and bookstore vouchers as prizes. This page is the new soft schedule, giving us a look at the upcoming SEGA Saturn game releases. It's set out like a table with columns detailing the release dates, game titles, prices, the companies making them, game genres, and what the game supports in terms of controllers and accessories. At the top, there's a guide explaining the genre codes and controller types used in the table, like ACT for action, RPG for role-playing, and mentions things like analog controllers, multi-taps, and even twin sticks. Looking through the list, we can see games planned for release in March, April, May, June, and even some listed as unreleased, meaning without a firm date yet. There's a good mix of genres, from strategy games like Civilization and Panzer Dragoon, to action titles, puzzle games, and even some simulation and board game style titles. It seems like there's a steady stream of new games planned for the Saturn across the next few months, offering a variety of experiences for different types of players. This page continues the new soft schedule, listing upcoming SEGA Saturn games. It's still in a table format, detailing release months moving from summer, autumn, and 97 year-end game titles, prices, developers, genres, and controller compatibility. We can see a bunch of games listed for release in the summer, autumn, and towards the end of 1997. Looking at the summer releases, there's Dizemon 2, Biohazard, which is Resident Evil, Bakuretsu Hunter R, Amok, Assault Suits Lanos 2, Doom, Primal Rage, Gulliver's Travels, King Time, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel Superheroes, and Angel Graffiti S. There are also titles like Tactics Formula 1, Riven, the sequel to Myst, Desire, Street, and Ragnagard. Moving on to the autumn releases, we see titles like Guilty Gear, Kishin Core, Galaxy Fight, Universal Warriors, Hop Step Ayumu-chan, Prism Court, and Coldcept. For the end of 97, there's Wizardry's Harmony 2, Kiki Kaikai Tsukio Sushi, Snowboarding, Mario & Wario, Virtual Chatting, Herc's Adventures, Dream Square Yamada Stadium, Niji no Puzzle Block, Sentimental Graffiti, G-League Victory Goal Stage V1, Motocross, Guardian Force, Cotton 2, Mini Police Box, Baroque, Ito of the Fish, Junk Crave, Silhouette Mirage, and Far East of Eden, the Leaden Dragon Castles. Lastly, we have Mr. Bones, Nice Shot, Graduation S, and Monster Maker, Holly Giga. It appears to be a diverse lineup of genres, including shooting, action, RPG, strategy, puzzle, and even board game style titles, with a good mix of known franchises and some more niche titles. The article Beautiful Bokeh examines the artistic use of bokeh, or intentional blur, in video game graphics. This technique, often associated with photography, enhances artistic expression by drawing focus to specific elements and creating depth. It's more than just a visual effect.
It shapes the atmosphere and guides the viewer's eye, similar to how Impressionist painters like Monet used it. The reviewer highlights the impact of bokeh, comparing it to art styles, and showcasing its effectiveness even in pixel art, as seen in games like Ur's Adventurer. Ultimately, the article argues that bokeh elevates game visuals, making the experience more engaging and visually appealing. This page is showcasing a Reader's Prize giveaway from SEGA Saturn magazine. Up for grabs are 5 different prizes. First, 20 lucky readers can win SEGA Saturn-compatible software, and the winners are listed by region. Next, one person will receive a Bomberman AV selector, which seems to be a device for switching AV inputs, possibly related to gaming setups. 12 people can win a SEGA mousepad featuring artwork from various SEGA games. There's also a Capcom secret file set for one winner, which looks like a collection of documents or files related to Capcom games. Finally, 5 readers can win a Virtua Fighter 3 vocal CD and a poster signed by the voice actor, featuring Akira from Virtua Fighter. Besides the prizes, the page lists the magazine staff and includes an information section teasing upcoming new game announcements for the SEGA Saturn, including titles like GD-Net's Big Title and Azel Panzer Dragoon RPG, indicating exciting new releases are on the horizon. The next issue of SEGA Saturn magazine is announced to be released on April 18th. This page showcases Ochij Designer, Tsukute Pon, a puzzle construction tool for creating falling block puzzle games, which is quite timely considering the current gaming trends. It's a SEGA Saturn software title, slated for release in June '97, priced at 5,800 yen. The page highlights the game with a central image of an anime-style character, presumably related to the game's design. The character design is credited to AKI Migiwa, and the voice acting to Murata Yuko. It seems to be emphasizing the creative aspect of making your own puzzle games, adding a unique twist to the falling block genre. This page continues to spotlight Ochige Designer, Tsukute Pon, emphasizing that now players can be the creators of puzzles. It's presented as the ultimate puzzle construction tool, where you can design your own falling block games. The software is highlighted as being user-friendly, enabling even those new to game creation to easily make their own falling games, and it's slated for a June release. The page details the extensive customization available, from titles and backgrounds to enemy characters and graphics, all within minutes. The charming elf-like girl character, designed by AKI Migiwa and voiced by Murata Yuko, is mentioned again as a helpful guide within the game. It seems like they are really pushing the idea that you can create original games using character and voice samples. Sample games created with the designer tool are showcased in screenshots, demonstrating the different types of puzzle games you can make. They are even holding a falling game designer contest for players to submit their creations made with Ochij Designer, with the top designer potentially becoming a game designer in future installments. Lastly, it's announced that Ochij Designer will be at the Tokyo Game Show in early April. This page is an advertisement for Greatest 997 for the SEGA Saturn. It's promoting the game as a next-generation hero experience in professional baseball. The advert features a young boy dressed in a baseball uniform with Pirates 21 on it, really pushing that heroic baseball player image. You can see screenshots showcasing the in-game action and stadium select screen, emphasizing the realism and depth of the baseball simulation. It mentions improved polygonal graphics, motion capture, and data, aiming for a more advanced baseball gaming experience on the Saturn. The game was priced at 5,800 yen, while a SEGA Saturn console was 20,000 yen, in case you needed a console to play it on.